thank you all for coming out here to our Board Curriculum Committee meeting on April 20th. It is 5:32 p.m. Everyone continue to go sign up. We'll give a 3-minute timer for everyone who wants to give public comment towards the end of this meeting. But at this point, I guess we can get started with the approval of minutes. Anybody have any thoughts on the minutes? All good? Looks good to me too. Okay. So I think one or two people are here for this. We do have a technology presentation about screen time use across the districts. So I can hand it off to our administrators if we like, and we can get started.
Thanks, Mr. Weiser. I'll kick it off, and in a moment, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Oberecker. Just a few comments as we open up this discussion, and it is a timely and a very important conversation. Just to lead here, in our classrooms, technology is used intentionally and with purpose. It's always tied to learning goals, so I think it's important to start there. Teachers are using district-approved vetted tools to support instruction. And when used well, technology allows students to create, collaborate, receive feedback, and engage more deeply in their learning experience. This is very different, of course, from passive screen time, sometimes known as doom scrolling. We see our kids sometimes do this on the weekends, and many of us tried to limit that as well. So passive screen time, we differentiate that. This is scrolling, this is watching without interaction, and as a district, we actively work to limit. You'll hear more about this in a few minutes when Mr. Oberecker speaks. So as a district, I want to close this opening slide here with our focus remains very clearly and steadfast on active learning and not on passive consumption. So in terms of alignment with instructional framework, our approach to technology is not standalone. It's grounded in established instructional frameworks. We align with nationally recognized standards that emphasize student engagement and ownership, that emphasize strong instructional design and ongoing feedback and assessment. Technology is never the driver here. Good teaching is always the driver. And I also want to add that we use technology to enhance effective teaching practices, never to replace the role of the teacher, which, as we know, is the most important thing. At the bottom of that slide, I just want to point out ISTE. This is something we talk about, ISTE, the International Society for Technology and Education. Our departments, our collaborative departments, Mr. Oberecker's and mine, we focus a lot on these standards. ISTE is a widely respected organization that defines what students and educators should know and be able to do with technology. ISTE specifically focuses on standards and skills that are critical for today's learners, which include digital citizenship, communication and collaboration, creativity and innovation, as well as critical thinking and problem solving. And we believe that by aligning to these standards, we're preparing students not just to use technology, but to use it responsibly, effectively, and thoughtfully. And a lot of our work is really purposeful and intentional on that piece there. And finally, for me, I think this is a big win for our district moving into next year as we continue to focus on overall student wellness and all of the things that we're looking to balance with that. We'll be eliminating technology from indoor recess. I think many efforts have been taken to move in that direction, and we've had really great conversations as a district administration and with building leaders about, really promoting social interaction and movement to the fullest extent as we move into next year. And just on personalized learning advantages, there are many. I have a few highlights here. And what we really lean into as a district is the personalized learning and differentiation that technology, when used appropriately, is able to give us for our students who have varied learning needs. And so with that, we'll move to the next slide. And I'm going to hand off to Mr. Oberecker.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bracito. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, community members. Thank you for coming out tonight. Just about 2 years ago tonight, I stood at the podium and shared our district technology vision and goals with you all, which was actually authored by some of the people in this room, even some on this board. So I wanted to revisit some of those. Dr. Bracito and I thought it was a timely night to do that in light of some of the emails and calls that we've gotten from community members, as well as our own internal work. One of our goals for 25-26 was to deploy screen time management tools for our classrooms and our families. So on the next slide, you'll see that we were able to deploy them to classrooms in August 2024 with a tool called ClassWise. This is something that teachers use to help kids focus on learning, on teaching and learning. So a teacher can see in real time what the students' screens look like in their classroom. And if they notice any off-task sort of behavior, or if they really want to focus them on a certain tool, an instructional tool or a resource, they are empowered to do that with ClassWise. We are, on the next slide, going to be deploying a family version of that called Custodio. This will be something that families can sign up for starting in August 2026. It will not be something that you be enrolled in automatically, but interested families will click the sign up button. On the next slide, you can see one of the things that families will get. You'll notice this email is from January. We've been testing this since 2025. We wanted to make sure we had our classrooms established first. Families that sign up for Custodio will get weekly or even daily emails from the platform, which will tell them, if you go to the next slide, thank you, it will show you in buckets what your child or children, it could be for all siblings, are doing on their school district device. Now, this example here is one of our technicians who is testing this. I don't want you to think that our students spend a third of their day installing software or anything like that. This is, in this test, I am the parent and our technician is the student. I wanted to see what the emails look like. I noticed at the bottom of the emails that you get, there is a button there that says, I can't read it from here, but see all school activity, thank you. Yes, you can learn more. So if you click that, and then on the next slide, this will take you to the Custodio Parent Dashboard. You can see the little letter M and the circle on the left. This would be for the initial of the student that we're looking at. You can click on the user dashboard. So if you go to the next slide, you'll get a more detailed view of that. And you can see for your child, you'll be able to see an activity summary. So again, it will show you, in general, what are the things that your child is doing on their school device. And this will be for all times. This will be both during school and outside of school hours. You'll notice that it says school protection is active. At the time that I clicked this to take the screenshot, it was during the school day. So parents are not able to override settings that are put in place at the district level during school, but they will be able to outside of school. So we can't see that on this, this is just a screenshot, but you would be able to see a timeline, which is very detailed. It will give you time-stamped information about what place your child went and when on their school device. And it even allows you as the parent to set up rules for outside of the school day. So if you would like to limit, we obviously limit our access to websites here at the district level as we are beholden to. But if you would like to further restrict, this is something that I know you use in school, but I don't want this being done at home. I'd rather see you outside playing. You can restrict that. You can restrict the internet completely as a parent using this tool for not just this child, but any siblings. And you also have the ability to add an extra personal device. So let's say you do have a tablet at home or there's a spare phone laying around that one of your children uses. This gives you the ability to load that onto there as well. On the next slide, you'll see another goal. We're actually going to be able to deliver early on this one, but our target was in 27-28, we wanted to establish a digital ecosystem for students, staff, and community resources. This was something when I came on board in late 2023, this was top of mind. We had parents who were kind of going all over the place to click on certain things. And the desire was, can we just have one spot where all the things are for families? And so with our current resource, Clever, that's not something we're able to do. But on the next slide, if you go to that one, thank you. We have begun the implementation for ClassLink. This is a single sign-on platform. You might be familiar with those with, at your workplace. You sign in once. That's the gateway to everything. You don't have to keep on signing into all these different things. It also allows for public portals. So you have a community portal where you can see all the apps, although we do have those posted now. Dr. Presido has those on the website, but it'll be a bit more user-friendly. You can click on them, see privacy policies, terms of use. There will even be parent ones eventually, once we get up and running, where it'll be like an SSO for you. So you want to go to cumulative, you want to go to school pay, whatever the parent-facing platforms are, you would go to that spot. Just like our kids are used to going to Clever, they will go to ClassLink. It'll just be a different button that they click. That's all for my update. Oh, actually, one last thing, sorry. On the technology website, the goals that I referred to are published there. So I wanted to make sure to call out that it is there. The same parent company that does our web filtering is the umbrella company for ClassWise, which is the classroom-facing screen management tool, and Custodio, which is the family-facing tool. They also, we also have an online safety hub, which content is generated from them. You'll see some really nice tools there and resources under screen time. It's one of the headings right there on the website. Setting up a screen routine, things like that, that are there for families. And I wanted to let you know that we also have a form for families to reach out. We have met with several of you. I see some familiar faces in the audience tonight. If there are some things that you have questions about or you have feedback on, that is the link, the direct link to the technology department that generates tickets, and we read them and we respond as needed. Our teams do meet bi-weekly, teaching and learning and technology. So it is not like we are working in silos here and technology is making educational decisions or vice versa. We do work very closely. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Does anyone else from the committee have any questions regarding the presentation? Nope. Yes?
I've got a couple.
Anyone else from the board?
Yes.
Graham?
I have a couple questions surrounding ClassWise. And can you speak a little bit to the ergonomics of how it works? I mean, is it something that they're able to access, the teachers are able to access on a tablet, or is it only on their computer that's at their desk? And are they able to, like, if they do see somebody, can they send a message to that person then and there without telling the whole class that Scott Overland is playing solitaire when he should be doing his...
The answer to all your questions is yes. They can see any district device that is enrolled during the time that they're with the student. So it is fed by our student information system, so teachers can see the screens for the students in their classroom while they're in front of them, not all day long. And yes, they do have the ability to send a private message if they want to, or they can just wordlessly refocus a student onto what they should be doing. And there are some times where teachers will notice, hey, I see this game being played. It probably should be blocked. And I can tell you, it is like whack-a-mole at times, trying to keep up with that. And we thank them for letting us know, and we do respond.
But the teacher's device, can they put it on multiple devices for their monitoring, or is it only the?
It would just be on their district device, yes. They would log in their district laptop in order to do that. Yes, and it doesn't work outside of school hours. I'm not sure if that's what you're.
No, I'm just thinking of the physics of the classroom and not teacher not being always behind their computer when they're teaching.
Right. Yeah. So they could.
You almost have like a free zone when they're not behind their computer.
Yes, our laptops can connect to our boards and our projectors wirelessly. So a teacher, in theory, could be moving around the classroom, which we know is a good teacher move, with this in hand. They could do that, yes.
Any other questions?
If I could, just two quick ones. Thank you for this. So are these tools, they will be rolled out K through 12, so district-wide, all buildings?
Correct.
And then secondly, anecdotally, again, I'm sure there's no hard data yet, has there been any change or any perceived change in off-task use with the new cell phone policy being rolled out in the high school this year?
I don't know, I'm not aware of any direct correlation there. I do know that a constant focus of our discussions, whenever we look at any kind of new platform or tool, which we do in collaboration with teaching and learning, it's how does this enhance teaching and learning? Like, is this, make it more efficient for a student to demonstrate their understanding and for teachers to get feedback? I mean, Dr. Bracito talked a bit about the Danielson framework, which is sort of the gold standard of what teaching should look like. And demonstrating that responsiveness and flexibility is, really the mark of a teacher who really is doing their job well. I see it a lot in classrooms that I'm in. And, if a technology tool can help with that, then it passes that test for us.
Mr. Venezia, were you looking for something else with the cell phone? Can you, I heard your question, but maybe I can try to help.
Yeah, I'm just curious from anecdotal or in the past, being able to use cell phones as hotspots to maybe go on different sites and some of that off-task internet use. I wasn't sure if anecdotally the teachers have felt like that policy has helped minimize some of that off-task use on the student laptops.
I don't think we can answer that right. I know exactly what you're asking, but I'm not sure I have the data in front of me to collect that. If that's something that you would like us to take a look at for the end of the year, we certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, again, if it's not, I don't think you should spend a ton of time administratively on it. I wasn't sure if it was a light bulb, oh yes, we've seen a huge decline in it, or not. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's simply polling the teachers to see what
Yeah,
they do.
I think we can do that. I know what you're asking,
Yeah.
and I know, so let us see what we can do.
You got it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Remington?
Yeah, just a couple questions/comments. Just as a parent of some elementary school students, I'm glad to see that we're eliminating the use at recess. Is that something that's already happened, in phase of happening? How are we?
That's a good question, and I think it's since we hadn't made a district commitment to that, teachers and building principals were, had some autonomy with that, and you have many teachers who are like, nope, not happening. And so I think we're in a phase of that, and when we talked about it with our principals, they were like, not a problem, we're already beefing up our games, and we have this process in place, and these things are already happening. I think because we had so much indoor recess this year because of the winter that we had, it was top of mind for everyone, and hopefully we don't have that kind of winter. We want our kids outside anyway, but I would say that was already in motion, and it was easy to establish consensus that this is a new practice moving forward.
I think the other thing that I was thinking through as I was reading this in advance is maybe it would be helpful to kind of, I understand the differentiation aspect of why we have devices, but maybe some of the other reasons about why we went to a one-on-one, I think specifically for an equity of everyone has a computer and stuff, just bringing that front to mind of why we have, that policy in place. That's it.
Yeah, just to chime in, I think the one-to-one too, exactly what you said, but COVID really pushed everybody into one-to-one. So I think most districts aspired to be that, and then that was the push, and that's when you saw available funds for all of us to do that.
And the PSSAs are all online, correct?
That's correct, and that's not an option.
Right.
Anyone else? Scott, did you have a?
Yeah, I think something else that might be helpful that I think sort of kicked off a lot of the concern from the community is what they saw in a presentation about kindergarten in the orientation, I think. And just talking a little bit more about our philosophy with our youngest students, kindergartners and first graders, and how we sort of differentiate that and make sure that we're developing those social skills and person-to-person interaction and how that sort of is different from the approach that we take as our kids get a little older and we really need to prepare them for things like the PSSAs and typing skills and life where technology is, for better or worse, super integrated into everything we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All good? Okay. I do have a couple questions myself.
Were you gonna respond a little bit to that?
Okay, sure, I can respond to that. I mean, I think your point is well taken, and these are conversations that we've been having quite a bit about prioritizing self-regulation skills, those development of empathy skills, all of the pro-social interaction skills that we want and expect from our students and our adults. And that work begins the minute kids walk in the door, whether it's kindergarten, camp, every interaction that we have with them. And we've been having a lot of robust conversations with Dr. Salato and many of her teachers. I had a great conversation with, I'll just say it because I feel comfortable doing so, Natalie Izzy is a teacher leader at the Early Learning Center. We have a number of them who are really, really invested in this work. And we have some great ideas about further bolstering the curriculum, for lack of a better word, that we have as students are entering, knowing that our kids are coming into kindergarten with various experiences and expectations as they come in, and really how are we setting them up for success in those social interactions moving forward. So we're going to do some development. We just had a great conversation about that development of that entry to kindergarten and what it looks like as it lives throughout the Early Learning Center and through those younger years. And I look forward to having follow-up conversation with you about that. Yeah.
Thank you. Like I said, just a couple questions. My understanding was a couple of us, a couple administrators did meet with the community. Reading the emails that have come across, it seemed like there was kind of like two parts, two recurring themes. One was just transparency. This looks great. I think it brings a lot of the transparency to how our kids are using district tablets, laptops, and all of that. So in that regard, thank you a lot. I think that does a lot to help us here. The other side to it, though, is, and this is what I'm personally struggling with, is I know, and I don't want to dismiss like equity of access, but my concern is I still don't really have the core benefits of giving kindergartners, maybe between K and third grade, whatever that range would be. I'm still not sure I know what the benefits of that are. And that's where I'm still looking for clarification. And I don't, and also with the transparency here, I am also curious when Mr. Perry is speaking, it made me wonder, do we have insight today across the district how our devices are being used? Is that something, I don't want specifics, but I'd be interested to know, at least during the school day. I don't want to get into tracking, or if we even can track what happens outside of the school day. But during school with school devices, I'm curious how much of that is in this category of usage or in that category of usage. I have no insight into where that stands now, and I would definitely like to, whenever we revisit it again, see how that's improved, hopefully. So my two things are I'd like to know where we are now, what our data shows now, but also just I'm not yet confident in giving kindergartners a tablet in the first place, which I'm struggling with. But again, transparency-wise, this is great. This is amazing. I don't know if we pushed up the schedule on this. I'm happy to and not surprised that we've previously considered this already. And I think that's something that we in the community can be proud of, but just looking for a little bit more, if possible.
Sure. I'll let Dr. Presido handle the instructional side of your questions, but I think your thank you that you shared for the transparency goes to the committee that created those goals. So, on behalf of them and the work that they did, which was a months-long process, that was something even a few years ago that we identified as a group. Hey, this is something that we're going to need to have a handle on, screen time use and what the kids are doing. To answer your question, how are we measuring screen time? We are measuring it in quality versus quantity. So we trust our teachers. They are professionals. We've empowered them with tools so they can see all right, these are the type of things that kids are doing. Parents will soon have that exact same type of oversight to learn about, all right, what is it that the kids are really doing with the screens? The laptops can tell you in the settings, if you go into battery, it'll tell you screen time, but its definition of screen time is not what we're talking about. Like, right now, President Overland's screen time is not on his screen. We're in a discussion. This counts as screen time, according to that device. So we knew we needed to bring tools on to give us a little bit more insight into that. Dr. Bracito, if you want to speak to the...
Yes, and actually, Mr. Oberecker and a few other team members and we were fortunate to access this sort of, I'll say meta-analysis at the risk of being real nerdy, but about the impacts of screen time, because this is well-researched, well-studied. You know, we're all pretty well-read in this area, right? And there's a lot of head nods in the room. And there's a lot of data recently that has been produced that, like we talked about on the first slide here, with intentional purpose, this type of technology use that is really meant to facilitate deeper learning and is not just mindless scrolling, they're not seeing the negative effects of that type of educational use that perhaps once was out there. Of course, we can probably find lots and lots of research, and people argue this is a heavily debated topic. But we do recognize that we need to be very mindful about balance and access for all of our students, K-12. We're really proud of the cell phone work that we've accomplished this year, and this is something that is on the minds and the mouths of all of us here in the district about purposeful use, balance, and not having tech as babysitters, quite frankly. And so we're vetting all of these tools, and we want to make sure that our point noted, young kids definitely need lots of supervision and they need lots of interaction, and that's why they're here in a brick and mortar school. And so we're really conscious about that. We also know that equity is a real thing, personalized learning is a real thing, and teaching our students starting from young ages to be good digital citizens is also part of our job.
Thank you for that information. I think we're good to move on for now. Let's move into the upcoming approval items on May 4th. So first off, we have an agreement with Project Libertad for the 2026-2027 school year. My understanding is, and I believe Rachel did, I think I saw her in the audience too, maybe she'll have some thoughts here, but I did see that she emailed as well. There has been some discussion on expanding this to our elementary schools, correct?
This came to my attention very recently. We had talked about, we have a great longstanding partnership with Project Libertad and services provided through the organization in partnership with PASD. There was some conversation that very recently, in the last 2 weeks or so, came to my attention about an expansion of that partnership. And we had a conversation with Dr. Alan Savage, in preparation of the agenda for this meeting, and we discussed that because that conversation about the expansion of the contract was so recent, and because of the significant budget increase that would lend, that has not been budgeted, that we would look to having a more robust conversation about that next school year to see what are the needs, what's the usage, and what would that thoughtful and purposeful planning of an expansion potentially look like, just to be a little bit more mindful in that. So what's here before us today is a renewal agreement that we had talked about months ago, and this was included and is budgeted for. If the board wants to have a conversation about an expansion of that contract, I think we have open ears. I'll just say that I know the budget conversation is following committee this evening, and there would be $25,000 that are not accounted for in the current budget. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
Mr. Weiser, can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
on that one? Is this just the same dollar amount as we've had in the past, or an increase?
This is the same dollar amount as we've had in recent years.
Thank you.
Next up is the MCIU Intergovernmental Agreement for Shared Student Services. Anything of note on this one?
Just like you'll see a CCIU, Chester County Intermediate Intergovernmental Agreement, we do have some students that access Montgomery County services that are specific to their unique needs. So this is representative of that for the upcoming school year.
Thank you. Affiliation agreement with Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, field training experience for a term of April 1st this year through August 31st, 2027. Seems pretty standard, correct? Okay. School-based internship agreement with Kutztown University for 5 years through April 20th, 2031. Again, standard. Approval of 2 professional development workshops with Panorama Inc. at a cost of $6,000 each. Can you shed some insight on this a little bit?
Panorama is our district data warehouse that we've been using for, I want to say, 3 years. I believe this is our 3rd year. I could be wrong, but within recent history. And this agreement represents a continuation of professional learning that we've been engaging in at all levels. So this would be professional learning that anybody would have access to. It is budgeted.
Just a quick question on that, Mr. Weiser.
Yep.
Just notice that the pricing validity on these is the end of March. I presume we don't anticipate any issues with them sort of honoring the same price.
We don't expect that, no.
Thank you.
We also have renewal of IXL site license for math and LEA for grades K through 12 from June 2026 to June 2029. Total of $23,906.25.
Even though I've read this agenda no fewer than 15 times, I didn't see until now that should say ELA, not LEA. Both
curious
are
about that.
educational acronyms. This means English Language Arts. This is a renewal, very similar pricing structure, and this is a resource that we use predominantly in special education.
All right, thank you. Agreement with Lakeside Youth Services for 3 special education slots from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. I think this is also a renewal, is it not?
Lakeside is a renewal, and if I may speak about Lakeside and Lincoln,
Please.
is that okay?
Yep.
Lakeside represents a renewal. The number 8 on the approval items is the Lincoln Center. This is a new engagement. Both of these represent prepaid tuition slots. So what that means is if we have students, and this does happen in public school districts, if we have students that have acute, very specialized or more sort of critical or urgent needs that pop up that are beyond sort of what the district is able to meet in real time, the benefit of having prepaid tuition slots is that we don't risk being full, not able to access, and most importantly, disruption in educational service for students. And those things do happen, unfortunately. So the prepaid, we have a bill every month that we pay. The reality of this is if the slots are not full, you pay anyway. They do come at a discounted rate because of the prepayment, and we've done a lot of data review over the course of the years. You've seen these fluctuate a little bit, and that's because we don't want to pay more than what we use. And so this is based on 3 years' worth of data about what we are traditionally using. We have great partnerships with both of these organizations, and they program for slightly different types of students, therefore the addition of the Lincoln Center.
Thank you. And both of these are also if we need to place a student for 2 months, we can then place a new student after they're done. Very flexible.
That's a really great question, and I forgot to mention it, so thank you for asking. Yes, if I, Kate Pacito student, occupy a slot for 2 months and then I return to the district, which is always the goal, someone else could then take my spot when I vacate it.
Wonderful. Okay, 2 remaining here. 2026 summer reading and summer work. Anything of note? Any questions?
There may be a question. I did put a note in here. The last few years, we've moved to for elementary. There's not required work. There's recommended reading lists, and we have those posted on the website already. So that's why you don't see an approval item for elementary, just secondary. But all of the books on here have been vetted, and we're excited about it.
Thank you.
Can
And
I just throw in there, I looked
Yep.
over this list of books, and it is awesome. I have read most of them and highly recommend. I don't know who made these choices, but great job.
I'm going to take a quick moment to give a shout out to my friend Mr. Daney in the back, curriculum supervisor, and the high school ELA team and middle school ELA teams. Mr. Daney is well on his way to completing all of these book lists, and I hear about it every morning. So he will agree with you.
Well, it's a really broad spectrum. I see that your theme is heroes, but you've got nonfiction in here, you've got history in here, you have science fiction in here, just a broad spectrum of stuff. So thank you, Mr. Daney. Nice job.
And last up, just disposal of library and textbooks. I'd say probably nothing of note there. Okay, so that would be all of our approval items coming up in May 4th board meeting. We do also have a informational item, district counseling supports available. Want to touch on that, Dr. Presido?
Sure, and I just put this out there as a general reminder. Sometimes we engage in really challenging conversations as a district. We have some tough things that are happening in our community, most recently an event that I know Ms. McTiernan is going to discuss shortly at Hares Hill last week. And so we just want to put a reminder that we have a full team of counselors, mental health specialists, social workers here at the district that are able to support students and families in lots of different ways. So please don't hesitate to reach out if there's a need.
All right, thank you. Okay, recognition of visitors, of which we have a few.
Go through this because they signed up in the wrong areas.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'll give it a
I
shot.
would just say look at the subject, even though don't pay attention to where it is. So anything you'll see. Happy to help you if you want. Do you want me to?
Sure.
I could call the names and then check them off.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So as a reminder, we do have a 3-minute time. It pains me to say, but in the interest of everyone's time, we will be holding you to a 3-minute time. But please speak your mind, let us know why you're here, what your thoughts are, and I will give you the floor.
So what I'll do is I'm going to go through all of the signups and make sure anybody with regards to tech, screens in school regarding that, or anything that was on the curriculum agenda, you'll have the opportunity to speak. Second thing I'm going to say is, I'm sorry if I crucify your name, just please help me, okay? All right, so first up will be Elena Althos. Althos, I was close, thank you. Come on up. You go right to the microphone.
And just start off saying your name again so we have it correctly, and your whatever town or borough, if you live in a borough or one of the.
Good evening. My name is Elena Althouse, and I live in the borough of Phoenixville. I'm here tonight as the mother of 3 children, a 2nd grader at Hares Hill, a kindergartner at Palk, and a younger child as well. I am concerned about the amount and quality of screen time in our elementary schools. One of my biggest concerns is screen time in the in-between moments, the moments not dedicated to learning, where children should be interacting with one another, developing social skills, videos during snack time, tablets during indoor recess, YouTube at dismissal, brain breaks which get them moving and, yes, look like a lot of fun. But what would these moments look like without screens? Kids playing a game together, learning to navigate conflict. In those idle moments, learning how to wait without expecting constant stimulation. We need to consider not only what these moments offer, but what they are taking away. I've seen classroom parties where a video was playing, and instead of talking to each other, students were just staring at the screen, and it didn't feel right to me. We're not a screen-free household, but we are deliberate in our choices on when and how to offer screens. We do not allow YouTube or short-form video content. We do not have screens at restaurants or in the car. Because if children are expected to grow into adults who can regulate their own screen use, they should not be conditioned to expect a screen every time they are still. We know as adults how hard it is to put the phone away. What chance do our kids have if we do not help them to learn to manage themselves in those in-between moments? If instead of engaging with classmates, they watch a video. If they are on their tablets when they wait in line outside the nurse's office, or watch brain rot videos in the library after getting their books. Another concern I have is with the educational use of technology, which is supposed to supplement and personalize learning. Yet the research has shown that children and adults retain information better using pencil and paper. My 2nd grade daughter this year has not been using ExactPath when she's supposed to. She finds it boring, so she just sits there. And the more she avoids it, the more boring it gets, because she advances and it doesn't. Her teacher informed me that other kids were, moving on to new things that they weren't covering in class. So when she came home talking about multiplication, I said, "Oh, are you getting that from ExactPath?" "No," she said, "I learned it from some kids on the bus." So it turns out some kids on the bus have been better at teaching my daughter than the supposedly personalized education technology. I'm sure other kids do very well on Exact Path, but is it equitable if some are simply not learning from it? There are apps that she likes. She likes Prodigy, a math game, but I've watched her play it, and it seems like a lot of video game and very little math. And that raises the question, how are these apps evaluated for educational effectiveness?
30 seconds.
Okay. There's absolutely a place for technology in schools. While our children are passive consumers of education technology, they are not gaining the technology skills necessary for professional success. Research has shown that Gen Z and Gen Alpha are technologically illiterate compared to their predecessors. They need more tech ed and less ed tech. They should engage with technology as creators, not consumers. Thank you.
Alaire Southerton?
Alaire Southerton, East Pikeland Township. I have a 6-year-old at PALC and a 4-year-old who will be there soon. I taught high school English for 12 years. I approached this issue as a mom and an educator. I volunteer at the PALC Library, and I've watched screens read books to children day after day. My heart drops when I see students engage with books and then cast those books aside as a video is put on at the end of class that doesn't enhance instruction. I've walked past gym classes playing videos of someone spiking a volleyball instead of a live demonstration. Is this tech use thoughtful and purposeful? Is there no better way to show kids how to move their bodies? Videos are played on a classroom screen during dismissal. Someone please convince me that this is appropriate, approved technology use. These are the moments when the values of our community become apparent. We are normalizing for our children how we want them to move through the world. Are we telling them that it's okay to fill every moment with a screen? We are enabling them to become less curious, have less interaction with their peers and the world around them by walking them from class to class, screen to screen. We need to revisit the one-to-one devices for elementary grades as a leftover COVID Band-Aid. The learning that should live in a kindergarten classroom is not enhanced by a one-to-one device, yet there are 31 apps approved for use in kindergarten classrooms. I have the highest respect for my son's teachers. I am not taking aim at teachers. I want to celebrate them and let them use the tools they have in their human toolkit. In our meeting with PASD administration, I was shocked when someone said that it was, quote, very difficult to individualize learning without technology. What have teachers done for decades? As a parent, I'm scared and concerned. I'm concerned about data privacy. 96% of ed tech apps sell student data to third parties. I'm concerned about the addictive nature of these apps. Do we really believe these companies have our children's best interests at heart, or are they building a base of addicted future consumers? One of the apps on the approved list that is used by kindergarten students is Minecraft for Education. Public education should not be the market for private products. All of these concerns come back to how we demonstrate our values. I put more value in the skills and critical thinking ability of a 6-year-old who can talk to his peers, participate in small moments of boredom and frustration, and sit with a book than one who can passively navigate an iPad. Do we value filling every spare moment with a screen at school? Do we value real learning and knowledge acquisition, which sometimes comes with frustration and struggle?
30
or
seconds.
do we value gamified learning that trains our students to seek dopamine hits and build a shallow understanding of content? These apps and games are not maximizing learning. They are outsourcing our children's executive functioning to digital tools. At a board meeting last month, Dr. Alan Savage said, awareness should create intentionality. We are aware that there is a problem with screen and device usage in schools. Normalizing screen use is problematic, and tech dependence is not real-world preparation. Moving away from one-to-one devices should be the norm.
Time's up.
Robin Thorne?
Good evening. My name is Robin Thorne, and I'm a resident of the borough of Phoenixville. I'm the parent of a child that will be entering kindergarten at the Early Learning Center next school year. I'm here this evening because I am concerned about the amount of screen time that students have during their day in the Phoenixville Area School District. I am also a public school teacher with over 20 years of teaching experience, so this issue is something I care about deeply, both on a personal and professional level. My wife and I attended the kindergarten information night that Scott referenced on February 17th and heard several questions asked by parents about technology usage, specifically the amount of time that students are using tablets. The answers provided were vague. For example, when asked how often the tablets were used, the reply was, well, we haven't used them in a couple days because we just use them a lot for testing. It's clear to me that there's no formal guidance on tech usage in the classrooms. Without any guidance from administration, teachers are left on their own to decide how much screen time their students will receive. Some teachers may allow early finishers to use their tablets, while others may use technology as a reward. Some teachers may do both. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, current best practice in the area of school-based screen time calls for active use of technology, where it is intentionally used to augment instruction. Allowing students to use technology as a reward does not augment instruction, nor does allowing it for early finishers of assignments. In fact, these uses breed habitual use of technology. Students will rush through assignments if they know there is an opportunity to play a game waiting on the other side. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Education's National Educational Technology Plan of 2024 discusses the idea of digital health. This plan states that mindful technology users are thoughtful and intentional about how they use technology. They know how digital interactions impact mental and emotional well-being and are intentional about the volume and content of their digital media engagement. Without guidance on screen time, is the school district really entrusting kindergartners to know how their digital interactions impact their mental and emotional well-being? Local districts are starting to recognize the impact of technology on students and are making changes to their educational programs as a result. Methacton has removed one-on-one Chromebooks from K-1 students and has returned to shared carts, while Lower Merion district leaders have stated they will seek to limit screen time in classrooms.
30 seconds.
I am calling on the board and administration to also make a change and implement sensible policies that encourage supportive and transformational use of technology while limiting use that is restrictive and disruptive to learning. Eliminating technology during indoor recess is a good start, and I appreciate the change. However, clear and transparent limits should also be put into place. Thank you for your time.
Colleen Phillips.
Hello, my name is Colleen Phillips, and I live in Schuylkill Township. I began my career as a 7th grade math teacher at Upper Merion Area Middle School and then served as the school's instructional technology coach when we rolled out a one-to-one iPad initiative in 2014. After completing my degree in instructional design and technology, I have since moved on from K-12 and now work in continuing medical education. More importantly, though, I'm a mom to a 2nd grader and an incoming kindergartner in the district. After the administration posted their slides on the board meeting agenda, no family was happier than ours to find out that the district will be eliminating technology during indoor recess. To provide context, my daughter loves being able to play outside and get fresh air during outdoor recess, but she loved indoor recess just as much in the beginning of the school year. She engaged in imaginary play, played games, and formed meaningful relationships with new friends in her class. However, as the students were forced indoors for a long stretch of time this winter, her class was able to play games on their iPads on Fridays. That quickly expanded to daily use and even continued this spring on one-off indoor recess days due to inclement weather. And speaking to other parents, this issue was not isolated to my daughter's class. It was pervasive across the district. My daughter loves school, but couldn't wait for the snow to clear and dreads rainy days because she knows she won't get the chance to play with her friends. Our family is saddened that the opportunity to engage in play on a daily basis was taken away from her for such an extended period of time this year. So trust me, I am so thankful for this new indoor recess policy, but I am also cautious. As a former teacher, I am unfortunately all too familiar with rules and policies handed down by administration without the support needed to make them stick. The elementary schools in this district turn to technology during recess to solve a problem. If the technology is taken away, that problem still very much exists. What support will be provided to teachers to get through another long snowy winter or even the next rainy day? I ask the administration tonight not simply to announce a new policy to appease parents based on the emails we wrote, but to genuinely understand why teachers are defaulting to technology during indoor recess as well as snack, dismissal, and other times throughout the school day, and what resources they need to make this policy a lasting success. Thank you for listening.
Noelle, I'm sorry, we don't,
Rebane, I'm
Okay.
on her behalf.
okay, thank you.
This is on Noelle's behalf, just to be clear. I am a former high school English teacher, and what feels like only a few short years ago, we were encouraged to find ways to allow students to actually use their cell phones in the classroom. We didn't know then what we know now. The pendulum has begun to swing, and we aren't asking for it to swing backwards in time with drastic measures, removing technology altogether. We are asking for a classroom environment that utilizes technology in a way that benefits students, not one that leaves kids untethered and unleashed in a world they have not been taught how to navigate. What we've done is give kids the keys to the car without teaching them how to drive. For instance, kids in 3rd grade receive laptops. As far as I'm aware, those laptops come with access to the internet. The internet is a world that, dare I say, can be far more dangerous than the real world. My daughter already struggles with feelings of anxiety around going to school, fitting in, being liked by her peers. She is only in 1st grade, and she is a perfect storm for a child who would be drawn in by what she sees not across the classroom or playground, but on websites, including YouTube and various social media and gaming websites. I can keep her from accessing them at home, but I cannot do the same when and if she has unsupervised access at school. My question is, what are we doing to keep our kids safe before handing them the keys to the car? We teach kids how to drive. We put them in hours of school before they set foot behind the wheel, yet we hand them iPads and laptops with full access to internet, YouTube, and gaming without so much as a single lesson on the dangers, the impact on their mental health, or what constitutes safe, healthy use of technology. The impetus cannot be on parents alone or on a digital literacy curriculum that only exists to check a box, leaving little positive impact on student behavior. We've always heard that it takes a village to raise a child, so before our schools hand over laptops and iPads, there are things we can do to ensure student safety, including, and potentially most importantly, training teachers with regard to digital citizenship curriculum, giving them the data and tools they need to then help students understand what healthy technology use looks like at every level, beginning in kindergarten and going on through at least middle school, where the effects of too much technology are already a reality in these kids' day-to-day lives. We need to think about how we are helping kids to understand the physical effects of technology on sleep, movement, and energy. We need to educate them on the mental health effects, when and how technology use can increase already high levels of social and emotional stressors. We need to model how to be a good digital citizen, protecting and prioritizing both their own and others' privacy and safety. We've all heard the horror stories, Radnor, Lancaster County Day School. We've all been made aware of statistics. If we do nothing, then the fault is only our own. There are currently 16 states that already have EdTech legislation. It is coming. We can choose to be reactive or proactive. Our children's lives depend on it.
Katie Castaglia?
Castiglione.
Okay, sorry.
It's all good. Good evening. My name is Kate Castiglione, and I'm the mom of 2 girls. One is a 2nd grader at Harris Hill, and the other one is a 1st grader at ELC. From speaking to other parents in this group tonight, one thing that has emphasized again and again is the personal experiences matters. Policies and research matter, but so does what families are actually seeing in their own children. And for me, the change I watched in my own 2 children, specifically my eldest, from little to no screens to becoming a part of their world, carries a great deal of weight. My oldest loves tech. She is very drawn to it, and because we know that, we have worked hard at home to limit it. We know how hard it is for her to transition off a device once she is on it. So it has been concerning to learn over the past 2 years that screen time was being used as a reward in school. In one instance, most recently in her midterm conferences, she ended up with something she was not supposed to be on, and her reward time was taken away from her. The teacher, when I asked the teacher about monitoring tools that were in place during the conference, she was told that there was a tech issue and that the monitoring tool never worked properly where she could manage and monitor the children's screen. I do not put this on any teachers by any means. They're doing a fantastic job. I just want to stress that. But that's what I heard in the conference. That is what feels backwards to me, and this is where I get stuck. Why are we using screens as a reward for young children in the first place? Especially when we all know, backed by research, how hard it is they can be to regulate. And especially when the safeguards are not even working fully properly. We are giving young children something their developing brains are not ready to manage well, make it even more desirable by using it as a reward, and then acting surprised or putting the onus on them when they struggle with it. If even outdoor time is being, used through screens, something is out of balance. So for instance, there was another moment when my younger daughter that I really can't shake, and this was more recently, it was one of the first beautiful days after all that winter snow we had. I imagine the teacher was probably full of pride and joy that that cold spell had finally broken off and the class could finally go outside. But when the teacher sent the photo, the children were sitting on their screens with their headphones on, tethered. It was one of the most jarring images I have ever seen. Our children have eyes, ears, bodies, and senses. When they are outside, they should be hearing birds, feeling the air, and noticing the world around them and interacting with one another, not tethered to their screens with headphones on. When even a beautiful day outside turns into children sitting on their headphones on screens, that should be a signal to all of us that the balance has shifted too far. These are little kids. They should be outside exploring the world, not shut off from it through a device.
30 seconds.
I'm asking the board to please take a hard look at this and prohibit screens as rewards, free time, or behavior management tools in early grades. Our younger children need more real-world engagement, more human interaction, and more chances to build attention and self-regulation. Thank you.
Ashton Onisick.
I'll be reading on her behalf.
Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of Ashton Onisick. Hello, my name is Ashton Onisick. My husband Ryan and I have 3 kids. Our daughter Harper is in 3rd grade. Our son Lincoln is in 1st grade, and we have Atlas, who is an incoming kindergartner next year. We have been increasingly concerned about how technology has been used within the district as we have learned more through our kids' experiences. Our first concern is that any information we get about how technology is used is through our children, not teachers or administrators. There's a lack of transparency of what is being used, why, for how long, and what content they are being exposed to. As I was registering our youngest for kindergarten and reading through the technology parental consent, I was struck by what we are being asked to agree to, especially the part that read, "I recognize that it is impossible to control the content of the internet." And while that is true, the adults have the ability to put up guardrails for these children. If the school district is not willing to do that, we should not be introducing these tools at such a young age. We would like to see more content filtering, careful consideration of apps to ensure spam and inappropriate ad blocking, as well as giving parents more insight. Thank you for your time in considering our experience as well as all the other experiences.
We're going to ask that only folks who are here in person make comments, just because there's so many people who are here, and want to make sure everyone has time to give their comments who are here in person. And that's our normal practice. So, yes, thank you all.
Lacey Zano Hager.
Hi. I'm Lacey Zane Hager. Sorry, my handwriting was bad.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm a borough resident, parent of a kindergartner and a 2nd grader. I'm here as a parent to share concerns about the increasing use of technology and screens in the classroom, especially for our younger learners and for students with ADHD. I want to share that I have a kindergarten child with ADHD. This isn't just a general concern for me, it's something I see firsthand every day in how my child learns, focuses, and responds to different environments. We all understand that technology is part of our world. It can be engaging, efficient, and sometimes necessary. But for children with ADHD, more screen time does not always mean more learning. In fact, it can often create the opposite effect. Children with ADHD already struggle with attention regulation, impulse control, and overstimulation. Many digital learning tools are fast-paced and highly stimulating in ways that can make it even harder for these students to focus, retain information, and transition between tasks. What may look like engagement on a screen isn't always meaningful learning. It can sometimes be a distraction in disguise. In addition, screen-based platforms are often designed to provide immediate rewards, rapid feedback, and constant stimulation. For children with ADHD who are already more sensitive to reward and novelty, this can create a cycle of instant gratification that makes it harder to engage in slower, effort-based learning. Over time, this can impact attention span, persistence, and even lead to patterns of dependency on that very level of stimulation. Young children, especially in kindergarten, learn best through hands-on experiences, movement, social interaction, and direct instruction. They aren't just preferences, they're essential for development, and for students with ADHD, they're critical. There are also concerns about cumulative effects of screen exposure on attention span, sleep, emotional regulation, and executive functioning, all areas where children with ADHD are already working harder than their peers. I'm not asking for the removal of technology from our schools. Rather, I'm asking for balance, intention, and awareness. Specifically, I'm urging the district to evaluate how much screen time is being used in our elementary classrooms.
30 seconds.
Ensure that technology is developmentally appropriate and not used as a default teaching tool. Provide more opportunities for hands-on, interactive, and movement-based learning. Avoid technology as a reward, which can reinforce unhealthy associations and increase dependence on screens. Limit or eliminate free, unstructured screen time during times like free choice or recess. I see how hard my child works every single day to focus, to regulate, to keep up. We have a chance to make school a place where that effort is supported, not made harder.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Based on this sign-in, I'm assuming Renee Thornton is not here.
No.
Okay. Rachel Rudder?
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Rudder. I live in East Pikeland Township and I have a daughter who's a senior this year at the high school. So I'm here tonight to talk about Project Libertad. So for those who don't know us, just really quickly, we've been partners with Phoenixville since about 2018, from providing emergency food to families during COVID. Actually, I'm gonna back up. We support immigrant youth and families in the district, which was important information for the second part. So we provide legal and social services to immigrant students and families in Phoenixville and other school districts. And so from providing emergency grocery funds to families during COVID, to providing emergency legal aid this year to get parents out of ICE detention, to providing mentoring, legal services, therapy, case management services, etc. We've had a really long and mutually supportive partnership with the district. And I'm here tonight to advocate for expanding our support program for English learners and newcomers. So this is a program that we've been doing since about 2018 at the middle school level, and we also run it in many other districts. It's a very successful program that provides English learners who are within their first few years of arrival with English support, academic support, connection to referrals like mental health services, mentoring, legal services, whatever it is that particular child and family need. It's a weekly program that happens during school, and it really creates a safe space, a welcoming climate, a feeling of belonging for kids who are new to this country and new to going to school in the U.S., and many of whom are SLIFE, so students with limited or interrupted formal education. And it can be a kind of a first step to them acclimating them to their other academic subjects. We've had teachers tell us this is the first time so-and-so has smiled in the classroom since they came to this country, right? And that carries over into their other subjects. So I've shared some data with you here about the impact of those programs. I'm not going to go through every point, but I invite you to take a look at it. It shows that we have had a real impact on academic, English improvement, social emotional learning, having a safe adult mentor, lots of other areas. And I would just advocate for expanding the program, whether that's this year or next year. I would consider sooner, because if we're waiting for next year, then we're like 2 school years out. And we know that these families are facing challenges in these times that they have never faced before at an unprecedented level, so it's more needed than ever before. But me telling you all this is boring, so the next person who should be right on the list after me is Leanna Carvalho, who is a class of 2025 student who graduated from Phoenixville. She's now finishing up her freshman year at Kutztown University, and she started in our very, very first newcomer program at Phoenixville Area Middle School in like 2018 in Mrs. Worley's ELD class. So I'm gonna hand it off to her to share her experience with you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laiana Carvalho. Like Rachel said, I graduated here last year, and I'm finishing up my first semester over at Kutztown University. And I want to talk a little bit of my journey as a newcomer student here at the PASD, and from a newcomer student to a college student. Just one second. Oh my God. On November 12 of 2017, I came to the United States. I was only 9 years old, not speaking any English and not knowing what to expect from school. A few months later, in February 2018, I started elementary school, and I remember the feeling of being confused, nervous, and unsure of where I belonged. As I moved into middle school, I started to understand more English, but I still didn't feel confidence in myself. That's when my ESL teachers introduced me to Project Libertad. She came up to me. It was Miss Riley. You guys probably know Miss Riley. She works with a lot of ESL students. She came up to me. She was like, Laiana, there's this woman, Rachel Reuter. She's an immigration lawyer. She helps a lot of people here in the community. She's a very nice person. And that's when she introduced me to Project Libertad. And from that moment, really changed everything for me. Being part of the program gave me both academic and emotional support. I learned my rights as a student, I gained confidence, and I finally felt like I had a place where I could grow. One of the most impactful parts was mentorship from high school students who share their experience and talk about their goals while they're helping us out in the activities on the program. And seeing that, like them talking about how they would go to college after graduating and all of that, it made me to believe that I could also have that future too. So as I moved into high school, I carried that confidence with me. I worked hard to be a strong student. I played soccer for 4 years. I participated in the JROTC program that we had here, but unfortunately, I don't think you guys have anymore.
30 seconds.
At that same time, I became a vice president of the Spanish Honor Society and everything. Now in college, I have continued to build that foundation during my freshman year. I earned a 3.64 GPA, made the dean's list, and was nominated to be part of a National Society of Leadership and Success. When I look back, I can clearly see how much that early support shaped who I am today. This program didn't just help me succeed. In school, it helped me believe in myself, set goals, and build a future. I started as a student who needed support, and today I've become someone who gives that support to others too. That's the impact of this program. Thank you very much.
Sarah Tolbert.
Hi, my name is Sarah Tolbert. A lot of what I have to say, a lot of parents have already covered today, but I'm a mom of 2 kids who attend the ELC and Hares Hill. My background in health sciences supports my core principle for the critical importance of free play, unstructured, imaginative social movement that supports physical health, emotional regulation, and cognitive development. In 2023, we relocated to Phoenixville with the hope of providing our boys with an exceptional education rooted in those values. I volunteer regularly for both of them and care deeply about the quality of education and support of our children. Like most talked about, the indoor recess use of iPads. It's intended to be unstructured, but it's increasingly spent on the screens. It leads to the mindless tapping. My 2nd grader is doing math problems like 10 minus 8. I think he knows how to do that, but it's not monitored. My understanding is that the students are allowed to choose what they would like to do. So again, they're given rewards, and that's what they opted to do. In October, I volunteered at my 2nd grader's fall party. The teacher explained the station. She put on K-pop video and the smart board was running in the background. Immediately, the room went quiet, children stopped interacting and became fixated on the screen. I know it's a fun time, but the kids are supposed to naturally want to connect, but the screens are competing with their attention. In our home, we've taken a different approach. My oldest experienced motion sickness at a small age, and we introduced podcasts and audiobooks, which we're huge fans of. It allows him to listen, imagine, and engage with stories in a deeper way. He still does it. It's a simple and powerful alternative that supports imagination and language development without the drawback of the constant visual stimulation. As parents, we currently are not receiving any information of them on these devices. At a minimum, we need more transparency with it. We should have access to it, but this cannot take away from the teachers who are educating our kids. They do not need to be on their tablets looking at kids to see how much they're doing during the day. I learned with pencil and paper. My kids can do it too. It's just taking away from it. What we're asking is not to eliminate it entirely. We need to restore the balance. It should not be the default or a dominant tool, especially during times meant for our social interaction and play.
30 seconds.
We ask that the district reduce the non-essential screen use, eliminate background screen distractions in the classroom, and prioritize opportunities for children to engage with one another. We have a responsibility to protect the space where they learn how to move, connect, imagine, and grow. Thank you.
Bridget Connolly.
Hi, everyone. I also won't repeat everything that's said, even though I agree with everyone. Thank you so much to the school board. My name is Bridget Connolly. I live in the district. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I've been asking about the school district, and parents are expressing gratitude. We love the teacher, we love the facility, but I'm a little worried about the screens. And so you've heard all the stories. Instead, I just like to focus and put a picture, my idea to obviously support our teachers. What can we do to support our teachers? They work so hard. As a parent, I'm utterly in awe of them and all of you. You're professionals at what you do, you're educators, and we're trusting you with our kids. But I ask you to have the courage to roll back the one-to-one device for K through 3. It is not proven to have benefits on their cognition. Let's teach our kids a strong foundation of literacy and math. We know this is going down in our country. Let's invest in more human support for teachers, whether that's classroom aides, recess support, I don't know, high school kids coming in there once in a while. This rollback and human investment would ideally give the head teachers more flexibility and resources to run their own classrooms and hopefully reduce the need to rely on screens. Thank you so much.
Amy Jury.
Evening. Thank you. I'm Dr. Amy Jury, a borough resident. I'm a parent of 4 with 3 still in the district. My stepson is in the high school, and I'll soon have 2 daughters at Barkley Elementary. In my profession, I have an ethical obligation to a proactive, holistic approach, and that has been a driving factor in raising my children, ensuring their physical, emotional, and cognitive well-being. My expertise in physiology and neurology has shaped my husband's and our approach to raising our children. We intentionally consider how each experience influences their growth. We offered them a screen-free, play-based childhood. My oldest daughter attended pre-K at the Charlestown Play School there, and it happened during lockdown. She shifted into the kindergarten there, where they turned their curriculum into an outdoor half-day kindergarten, and that was amazing for her. And the following year, we opted to homeschool her to minimize the social emotional challenges that are caused by increased screen time that would have taken place if she were in the virtual hybrid learning during COVID. We were not aware until recently that aside from the restricted cell phone policy, there are currently no time-limiting policies regarding tech or screen in the district. This may explain some of my daughter's frequent complaints of headaches that she associated with excessive screen time at school. last year I had the opportunity to speak with a few of you regarding the Jonathan Haidt book, The Anxious Generation. That book documents detrimental effects of the digital overstimulation on developing brains. Tonight, I'm here to propose a practical, common sense solution that aligns a technology policy with our district's wellness goals. Currently, PASD mandates a one-to-one device program. While these tools are helpful for the modern classroom, they're also portable entertainment hubs. Our current filtering allows significant access to recreational gaming and non-academic YouTube content. In practice, we are asking students to sit with a high-powered distraction in their laps and use their limited willpower to resist it. For many, this leads to attention fragmentation and heightened anxiety, the exact issues our wellness policies aim to prevent. I'm proposing the implementation of an education-only option. This would be a voluntary choice for parents who want their child's district device to be exactly that, a tool for school. By using our existing filtering software, the district can create a whitelist profile that only allows access to school apps and approved research databases. This doesn't change the curriculum. It simply gives parents the right to choose a focused, distraction-free environment for their child. We have the technical capability and the medical evidence to support this move, so we can lead the way in protecting our students' overall health by making the educational-only option a reality for the Phoenixville families. Thank you.
Joe, I'm sorry, Joe, I can't read your, LaCane, maybe? Sorry, I can't see. Thank you.
So I live right here in the borough. I am a father of 2 boys, and I'm here today as a parent, extremely concerned, as a parent who came up in the days of what is basically the Wild West internet. A parent who came up watching these technologies emerge, social media, massive online games, watching all of these experimental methods become systemized. And at the end of the day, we can find and cherry pick data to say what we want, and we can find cherry pick data to say the opposite. There is real harm here, right? So we won't go to peer-reviewed papers, and instead we'll just say we have all seen the way that this technology is influencing this Gen Z generation. We've all, parents, teachers, administrators slogged through the days of COVID and, virtual schooling. We all are dealing with our own adults' addiction to those screens. I'm concerned as a parent with my own screen addiction. Parents can't manage this. Asking a child to manage their screen usage is just simply not feasible. Regardless of which data points you want to choose, there is a potential for real harm here. And we need to acknowledge that. As a parent, as a father raising 2 healthy boys, I need to know exactly what they're doing on these screens. I went and poured through the website and all of the information I could find. The only thing I ever heard about technology came from my son's mouth, whatever Epic is. And so I started to look it up. But this is it. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're seeing. I don't know what they're playing. I don't know how long they're doing it. I don't know who Epic is. I don't know who owns Epic. I don't know if Epic is an American company. I don't know any of this. These are things, for me to do my job, I need to be able to make an informed decision. These are things I have to know. And in order to do this job, what I would ask, I need to have the ability to opt out of all or some of what's going on, but I need some kind of hand on the ball. I would ask that we roll back what is not necessary. Certainly roll back screens at recess, certainly roll back screens as a reward, but also I don't know how much their learning has become gamified. We know gamified learning, gamified platforms foster addiction, We know short form content fosters addiction. We know short form content harms their focus. We know that short form content damages their creative play and their creativity. Yes, I would ask we roll back the unnecessary and the superfluous, but I would ask that I have a hand in the ball and have the choice to opt out.
Patsy Spoto.
Hi, my name is Patsy Spoto. I have a son, my husband and I have a son who's in second grade at Hares Hill. And I echo everybody's sentiments here as far as the quality and quantity of screen time. So I think what I would like to do is just share a couple of examples that has happened with us. Last year, my son was using his iPad and came home and told me something about Roblox. And I said, "How do you know about Roblox?" He said, "Well, there's an ad that came up telling me that I could purchase it. And it was a video to look at it." And he said, "Mom, it was inappropriate." My heart sunk. And I said, "What kind of inappropriate are you talking about?" He said, "It was violence." And he said it was graphic. At the time, he was 6. So that's my first example. My next example comes from these educational video games that he's playing, like Prodigy, when he's saying things to me like, "I can't wait to go to school because I get to go play Prodigy." My son, somebody else mentioned this, went to Charlestown Playhouse, and he's a very creative child, and I would never take that time back. It was awesome, and now he's at a point where he's feeling like he wants to go to school to play video games. I had asked to have his iPad sent home a few months ago so I could look through it and see what's going on. The teachers complied, which was great. The first thing I noticed was on his homepage, he had all the educational things like Epic, everything like that. He also had a Google icon and a Yahoo icon. So I tapped on the Yahoo icon. I asked the teacher why he would need that. I didn't really get a good example of why. And when there were current events, which included the murder of somebody in Minneapolis, and I was able to click on the video and actually look at the video of that happening. I pray to God my son didn't see it. I asked him if he's ever looked at this, but it was front and center right there, all of it, blood, gore, all of it. Now he's telling me he's playing video games like Angry Birds during STEM, and I'm not sure how that is appropriate for someone in his age group learning STEM. The math games that he's playing, he did mention to me the other day, he came into the car all upset because he was playing his game Bottle before dismissal. I'm not sure why that was being played before dismissal, but these particular games, once they're stopped, and they have to restart the next day. So they get very upset because they lose all their points and they have to start it all over again.
30 seconds.
I watched his behavior become increasingly agitated over the rest of that day just solely because of that. We need to stop leaving the onus on our children, like other people have said, to do what us grown-ups need to do for them. It is not fair and it is not right for them to spend their childhood on these screens. And it's clear that they're spending all this time and not actually playing together, and these games that they're playing that are not helping them navigate friendships, conflict, and just solely having fun and spending time with each other. Thank you so much.
Jennifer Bravo.
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Bravo. I live in East Pikeland. I have a daughter starting at PALC in the fall and a son who's 2. I want to talk specifically about our youngest students, K through 2, and the one-to-one iPad program. We were recently going through the process of enrolling for kindergarten and came across a required consent in that process. It absolves the district of liability should our child come across any inappropriate content, which I think from the anecdotes here clearly happens. This is not like some kind of out there event. There's no opt-out from the device program, so I don't have a choice as a parent for my kid to use this. And then I am required to absolve the district who put that in her hands of responsibility. So when these things happen, which clearly they do, who is responsible? Is it my kid? Is it me who didn't want her to have it to begin with? I can't make sense of that. And it just doesn't sit right. So parents in Pennsylvania can opt their kids out of all kinds of things. Vaccines based purely on belief with absolutely no science to back it up. Yet I don't have the option to opt my kid out of a program that does have a substantial body of credible, independent research showing harmful effects on her development. I was part of a small group that met to discuss some of these issues, and I really appreciated that meeting. What came up in that meeting, which was supposed to be a reassurance, is that paper textbooks, workbooks, worksheets already are in place at ELC, which I was happy to hear. But that also tells me that the infrastructure for paper-based curriculum at those levels already exists today. The obstacle is not logistics, and I'm curious what it is. I am not here to control what the district teaches. I'm here to ask that how it teaches meets a basic evidence standard with strict guardrails in place to keep my kid safe while she is in your care. The burden of proof should lie with you, not with parents. I would ask that you eliminate the one-to-one program at the K-2 level altogether and return to paper-based instruction. If the board is not prepared to do that for the upcoming school year, I would suggest that an opt-out policy would be the minimal acceptable bridge solution. The parents here tonight are a very small part of the group of parents who share these concerns in our district. That group and these voices are not going away. It's getting bigger. And we don't want to have a fight like the 300 parents in Lower Merion who are very publicly having that fight right now.
30 seconds.
We want a path forward. We need action, not more tech solutions that are presented as reassurance. Thanks.
Brian Albany.
Thank you, Brian Albany, East Pikeland Township. I don't have anything prepared, but everyone who's had stuff prepared was awesome. I mean, they really went for it. I'm here because I have a rising kindergartner, an incoming kindergartner, right? And we're a household that, you know, we'll watch Bluey, but you get past like 2 episodes, and all of a sudden you start to see that there's a gnaw to get away from even that, right? And when you start just putting these tablets and gamifying it, as has been kind of brought up, it leads to real problems, right? There's been a lot of science that's been kind of put out there, but one that really stuck to me was Cincinnati Children's Health, right? They did this whole survey back in 2020, and they called out that continued use of scrolling, of gamifying, and going through all of that, right? Like, it really leads to just to issues in the white areas of the brain, right? That really can affect cognition. And that's really stuck with me. I don't want my children to have those issues. And then you come back just a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, Congress had a whole big thing in there. And many of the doctors, I think it was Harvard and some of the other folks that are really monitoring this, saying that Gen Z is the first generation to take a cognitive step back. They are not as cognitively skilled as millennials. And you start to think about, okay, well, yeah, there's these surveys that are happening. They used screen time as a huge differentiator. And to your point, you know, whether it was kind of the gamified portion as opposed to the active learning, right? There is a differentiation there, but it doesn't really sound like that's what's happening in the classroom based on the conversations that we're hearing today. I'm here because I want my daughter and my son to have the best possible experience at Phoenixville, right? And I think the easiest way to do that and to really like the healthiest way to do that at minimum is to have an opt-out policy at the very early ages. There's no real need for an iPad. The only people who use them are children and old people, right? That's really it. To be very coarse, my apologies. But like, that's who's mostly using them. There's not the there's not the typing skills that are necessary for work in the common workplace for the most part. You're not like learning how to utilize AI in some way. Like I'm not like a tech prude, right? But like at the same time, I think we need to be setting our kids up for success. I don't think that they're not going to learn anything on an iPad in kindergarten that they need for the rest of their life, right? Apparently they have to take PSSA tests. But aside from the testing, right, like there's nothing else they're going to learn. They need to interact with each other. They need to learn to write. They need to learn to read. And they can do that all on paper. I don't think that they need to have the
30
strength.
seconds.
That's all from me. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Meredith Stradley.
Good evening. My name is Meredith Stradley, and I'm the parent of a kindergartner at the Early Learning Center. I also have a younger child that will be entering the school district in a couple of years. Thank you in advance for your attention and consideration tonight. Screens have become so pervasive in our schools that the one-to-one device model, to which many others are addressing tonight, is only part of the issue. The prevalence of short-form videos, YouTube teaching videos, and even TV shows is alarming, and that is what my comments tonight will be directly addressing. I recently asked my son, my 5-year-old, which classes do you watch videos in? I know he regularly watches videos in his homeroom classroom, but I was curious about his specials. I said to him, do you watch videos in STEM? Yes. Art? Yes. Music? Yes. Library? Yes. Gym? He says, no. I mean, yes. In upstairs gym, we watch videos, not in downstairs gym. Okay. Let's sit with that for a minute. My 5-year-old child uses screens and watches videos with every single teacher and every single class he has. Last year, when my son was enrolled in a pre-kindergarten program at a local daycare, his teacher read to his class over 10 chapter books throughout the school year. He excitedly came home each day and told us what happened in the chapter they read that day. Compare this to his experience so far at PALC. Not only has he not been introduced to a single chapter book all year, but he regularly watches videos of picture books being read aloud. Let me repeat. He watches videos of picture books being read aloud. This happens in every library class and regularly in his homeroom class as well. This practice is concerning. It eliminates students' ability to engage with the reader, to receive feedback from the reader, to ask questions, to react in real time to the book. It eliminates the reader's ability to personalize the experience for the students. To give you another example, in my son's pre-kindergarten art class last year, my son learned about famous artists. Henri Matisse, Claude Monet, Pablo Picasso, Georgia O'Keeffe, George Seurat, to name a few. At the age of 4, he was telling us what he had learned about these artists' lives and their artistic styles. Also, by way of background, my child's not like super smart. He's a good kid, but this is not like him being, really smart. This is just him being a 5-year-old. This year, when asked what he does in art class, he says he watches videos. I say, Bud, why are you watching videos in art class? Because we need to learn how to do the craft. Let me emphasize here. He is watching strangers on a screen. He is expected to learn in 2D format on a screen how to do a non-digital 3D task. This practice fails to provide him the opportunity to interact with a teacher or to ask questions in real time because the so-called teacher is speaking to him through a screen. Again, this practice is concerning. And finally, the general classroom. My son watches videos, I'm trying to speed up here. My son watches videos during recess, snack time, brain breaks, and who knows when else, instead of socially interacting with his table mates during transition times, such as these snack time or brain breaks. His eyes are glued to the smartboard at the front of the classroom, watching yet another short-form video.
30 seconds.
These short-form videos are taking the place of valuable social emotional learning experiences. And how offensive to our educators. These teachers have such a breadth of experience and knowledge. They are experts in child development, psychology, general education, literacy, language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, and the arts. These folks have prepared for years for their career. Most of them have years, if not decades, of teaching experience. This is their life's work, their calling. By prescribing the use of screens, devices, apps, and YouTube, we are implicitly telling our teachers that we as a school district cannot trust them to do their jobs. Since when do we start trusting YouTube videos, apps, and screens more than our teachers. Our educators are not in the entertainment industry, but that is precisely what we are asking them to do: entertain our children. Plop them in front of a screen and entertain them with short-form videos. Is this what we stand for as a district? I ask you. Thank you for your time. And again, thank you for your attention to this matter.
Alex, I believe it's Mitchell.
He had to go home.
Okay. Michael Southerton. Okay.
Hello, my name is Michael Southerton. First, I want to thank the board for listening to us today, and also the people of Project Libertad and the student musicians who are waiting in the back, and everyone speaking for the good of our community. The issue of tech in the classroom is one that is very important to me personally as a father, but also professionally. For the last 19 years, I've been a teacher in the school district of Philadelphia, and for the better part of a decade, media literacy has been integral to my curriculum. First in my elective course, writing in the language of film, and now as a digital media instructor. As you can see, I am hardly a Luddite. In fact, I'm a real believer in progress, the human spirit, and the role technology can play in building a future full of discovery, innovation, and growth. I am not, however, so enamored with the light to believe it brightens every shadow. Jaron Lanier wrote in his 2010 book, You Are Not a Gadget, that the most important thing about a technology is the way it changes people. His words to me hold great weight, as Lanier is not a reactionist, but himself one of the creators of the internet, one of the computer scientists on the ground floor whose design choices turned into the code that sparked the digital revolution and made him the father of virtual reality. Lanier describes these choices as being locked in. In other words, decisions were made not because they were the best ones, but because time was of the essence in a digital world that was expanding so rapidly. He admits that unfortunately locked-in decisions about privacy and anonymity led to digital spaces overwhelmed by hive mind mentality and the abuse of what he calls data dignity. And we see these dangers not just seeping into our education, but flooding it. You already heard a study in 2022 found that 96% of all technology recommended and used in U.S. education institutions shares student data with third parties. But despite the flaws in the digital revolution, Lanier remains optimistic. His writings offer us a pathway forward, reflecting the philosophies of digital humanism. He insists that people and communities have a set of guiding principles that reflect our values and center our humanity and creativity in digital spaces. Because even in a locked-in world, there are moments of clarity when we have the power to remake and reshape our own futures. We are all here today to help the school board create specific principles that will shape the people our children will become. Because believe it or not, we are still at the dawn of the digital revolution, and we need to draw our line in the sand firmly and deeply. Otherwise, the waves of what is to come will surely wash away whatever moral ground we believe we're standing on. Thank you.
I believe that's all for the curriculum. What is your topic?
Stephanie Nicolosi.
Oh, well, you have curriculum and budget.
What curriculum? So you
Oh.
just said, I think that's everything for curriculum. This is curriculum, yeah?
Yes, I thought you were talking about the budget, sorry.
No.
Sure. Sorry. Stephanie?
I don't have anything prepared. This is your paper. I did write about part of what I would like to speak with in an email to you separately. But I would like to speak, first of all, I overwhelmingly agree with the evidence there, and none of the examples given surprised me whatsoever. And I understand that there may be recent research that may say otherwise. I'm not familiar with it. But overwhelming evidence in the past has shown the harm that this technology can have with our children. And one of the most important things I have learned as a parent, or been told actually, and was the best lesson I've ever learned, was do not let anyone convince you
that you are not the expert in your own child. And there is everyone in this room who has spoken so far, and any number of people I've spoken to outside of this classroom, are the experts in their own children, and we are all seeing a problem with technology in our classrooms today. We're seeing the effect on our children, and it is not a good one. I personally am for limiting the curriculum to be completely paper only. I mean, I know I'm on the extreme end. I grew up when we only had a bank of computers in our library, and I remember being annoyed because it wasn't as fast as going and just looking it up in the card catalog. But I find it alarming, though, because I'm also here to speak on a second topic. I find it alarming that my children see screens and interact with screens more frequently than they have physical education, more frequently than they have music, more frequently than they have arts. Those are on a rotating schedule once every 6 days, right? Well, twice every 6 days for physical education. But they have a screen in front of them every single day. And I will share another example as everyone else here has today. My child was talking to me about what they did in music. And he's talking to me about how they were watching a screen. And I was like, he's like, yeah, every time it goes down on the board into the thing, then we hit the thing. We hit the instrument. And I'm like, why is there a smart board involved in educating my child in an instrument, in a physical instrument that can be demonstrated by a real live person in a classroom? It's alarming. Every single day, I hear more and more stories from my child about how he's interacted with technology in a way that was completely unnecessary. So I am not just against the one-to-one policy, and of which I'm completely opposed in younger grades, all the way through to 5th grade personally, but I know that's a little more extreme than most, but absolutely in K through 1st. 30 seconds. I'm also in favor, sorry, I'm super ADHD, so I have no idea what I was just saying. Anyways, but I'm for expanding the programs that are actually getting them involved, and I'm for absolutely limiting this technology unless it's strictly necessary. Strictly necessary. And I am for having a bank of computer and putting it into a rotation. If they need to use computers, if they need to do PSSAs, can we do it in a rotating bank on a day? We need a better solution. I am particularly seeing it in my younger child, who has been more exposed than my older child. I have 2 children in the district, 2nd and 5th grade. And he throws tantrums when I try and get him to read books. He used to just read them of his own accord. He wants to read it on his iPad, where it reads to him and plays him a video out loud. And it's scary and it's frightening and it's hard for me. I only can limit what's happening within my own household. I don't control them at school. I don't control them at their father's house. So it gives me a very limited time to make an impact on my own child. So please give me back some of my own agency and protect our children, and please expand our arts, education, language, and music, and physical education. Thanks.
I think we have one more. It's either Gina or Anna. C.
Hi, it's Gina.
Sorry
Gina
about that.
Bravo. It's okay. I was writing it really quick. I am a mom of 4. My oldest is in 2nd grade at Hares Hill, and my second son is going to kindergarten at PALC next year. And I'm here to talk about tech. Last year, my son had unrestricted access to YouTube during school hours. It was reprimanded. He was reprimanded a few times for watching Godzilla movie trailers and other unrelated content. While I agree that he should have been reprimanded and should not have wandered off to those sites, the access was available and he found a way in. I worry that any time meant for education is being lost, and children who are getting bored will find a way to wander whenever they can. This year,
has been a lot better for him until it came to some indoor recess. This is a really valuable window for kids in second grade. And it's a time spent for imaginative play, social development, and physical movement. They need to move, and I understand that it was cold and snowy all winter long, but these kids need to burn some energy. Replacing that with screens is just not acceptable and defeats the purpose entirely. Children need unstructured, screen-free time to reset and connect with their peers and to just be kids. We need to protect that time. My son's handwriting has become noticeably sloppy and oversized. This is a pattern seen with children who spend more time on a screen than holding a pencil. Handwriting is not just a skill, it supports cognitive development, letter recognition, and focus. Less screen time means more time practicing the basics and building a foundation. I have brought these points to teachers the last 2 years, and earlier this year, I was reassured that it wouldn't affect him long-term. However, the last conference, his teachers are actually concerned about it. We've been working on it at home, and he has even taken up piano to help his development and his muscles, to strengthen them and to help with cognition. I'm not unrealistic. I know these kids are going to grow up in a world shaped by technology, but our job isn't to shield them from it entirely. It is to teach them to navigate it with purpose and discipline. A structured, directional curriculum around technology would serve them well. Open-ended screen access with no guidance is scary. Let's create an atmosphere that emphasizes critical thinking, healthy boundaries, and intentional use. And I want to echo the voices of the other concerned parents who desire an opt-out option as well.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
There is, but that's not for here. That would be for any school subject, unless, the other items on here are music, and, because that's not an agenda item on this, but right.
I mean, is that my discretion, or is that... Is it not curriculum related?
Okay.
Here.
Please continue.
Okay. Okay. Let me find my place.
Yeah. So, Joe.
Ready?
So,
Does it go in the minutes? Is it part of the whole?
We'll put it in the minute. So generally, I know this is we're thrilled to see so many folks out here, and this is not our normal number of people, as you might imagine, who come to our meeting. So while we normally would probably be a little bit strict and want to have that where it goes in the main meeting, we know you all have been sitting around for a while, and we have pretty much a whole board here, or at least everyone who's going to be here tonight. So we're going to have, because we're in this meeting, it'll go in these meetings minutes, but we're all able to hear it. And we're going to continue on with the same format that we've been doing. Anyone who wants to stick around for the main voting meeting is welcome to do that as well. We have a budget presentation and a middle school special ed presentation, exciting stuff. More comments, but we will continue on with the comments now so that folks don't have to wait that long if they don't want to.
Okay. Everybody
And we
ready?
still have policy here. Yes, we still have the policy hearing too.
Okay, Brian Langdon.
My apology. I thought I signed up for the regular board meeting one.
You did.
You did.
Okay, cool.
We
So I
just
did sign
said
up for the correct one. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
we just said that because there's so many folks here who've been waiting, we'll do it now. If you want to wait, you can.
It's up to you guys. I'm
It's up to you,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'm here. I have a microphone. I'll just
Okay.
talk. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good evening, members of the board and district administration. It's so great to see you. My name is Brian Langdon, and I have the honor to work at PAMS as the band director. This is a position that I've always wanted, as I am a proud alumnus of the class of 2004. It has always been a dream to come back and give to the program that has given so much to me. Since I am brand new here, I thought it would be great to share what exciting things we have done in PAMS band land so far. There's a lot. PAMS band has seen tremendous growth in the short 6 months I have been here. When I started, we had 37 students in our 7th and 8th grade band program. We are currently at 67 members, so 30 members more. What's even more exciting is that it looks like we're going to have over 100 members in our 7th and 8th grade band program next year. What that looks like... So just a visual, that is 1 out of every 6 students that you see walking down the hall next year will be in our PAMS band program. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty awesome. These numbers showcase the incredible work of our elementary instrumental team. Ms. Petrolak, Ms. Mall, Ms. Dangler are doing incredible work down there, and their work should be absolutely commended. We have started several new things this year. I'm going to highlight just a few due to time limits, but if you want more information on all the new initiatives that I've kind of brought into PAMS band, please reach out. I'd love to share them with you. The first thing that we have started that I'm most proud of is our new member initiative. This program is for any student at the middle school who has never played an instrument before. They now have the opportunity to join and become an integral member of the ensemble. These students come down for dedicated new member lessons where they can learn the basics of music theory, how to play their instruments in a smaller group that is not intimidating, where they hear their peers perform at a higher level because they've just been playing longer. One of our members recently shared with me a note about his experience I would like to share. He said, "I decided to learn to play clarinet, and it has been a positive experience. This year, I've gotten to play with a full band despite having only started playing clarinet in October. There's a strong sense of community in the band, and it's a great opportunity to develop new friendships. We have also started student-led chamber ensembles, which is completely student-driven. Students gather a group of musicians, find their own music, rehearse it on their own, with me coaching from time to time if needed, and perform it for our concerts. This happens on non-band rehearsal days during 8th period. It has allowed our students to take ownership into their music education experience, increase their musical strength, develop leadership skills, and collaborative problem-solving skills as well."
30 seconds.
What we have been able to accomplish in a short amount of time is incredible and a testament to the team of educators we have in the PASD music department. PASD music is not limited to music, and to be honest, I'm not here to make professional musicians. I'm here to make professionals. My hope, and I am confident my colleagues share this with me as well, is that our students take life lessons and incorporate them into their daily lives to be successful in whatever career they decide to go to. The greatest resource you can give any educator is time with students. And we plan to make the most of every single minute of it. Thank you for the opportunity to share, and please reach out if you want to learn more about our programs. Thank you so much.
Janine Weiss.
Good evening, Janine Weiss, Borough Member. I'm speaking tonight as both a parent of 3 and a music educator from a neighboring district. I have over 20 years of teaching experience, and I've worked in a variety of roles and earned my doctorate in education, so I'm well versed in what you're facing with your financial constraints as board members. I thank you for your service. I'm here in support of our tremendously dedicated music faculty to share my concerns for the proposed staffing assignments for next year. Reallocating music teachers across multiple schools and grade levels and subject areas is not efficiency. It's very much a reduction in program quality that will directly impact students. At the middle school level, we are seeing, as you heard, the opposite of a program in decline. Enrollment in the instrumental music has nearly doubled this year, with the prospects of over 100 students being involved next year. Yet at the same time, the staffing reallocation is focusing in on that position. When staffing is reduced even by a part-time percentage, programs lose the ability and flexibility to offer age-appropriate instruction. Students of different ability levels are combined into one ensemble, and it is not developmentally appropriate. Beginners will get overwhelmed, the advanced students will be held back, and ultimately students will quit. That's how strong programs quietly disappear, and I've seen it firsthand. I've seen how staffing reductions can compound over a number of years. A full-time teacher retires and is replaced part-time. The next year, another position is replaced part-time, and suddenly the program has lost 1.5 teachers. The remaining staff are stretched beyond what is sustainable. The burden doesn't just fall on the teachers, it falls on the students and families. Families are making a real commitment here, hundreds of dollars annually in their instrumental rentals, because the children are actively engaged and eager to participate. They deserve a program that provides consistent access to highly qualified music educators so that the enthusiasm will turn into real progress. Cutting this access doesn't just impact concerts, it impacts cognition. You heard from a number of parents speaking tonight about their concerns on screen time. Well, do you know what research consistently demonstrates? That studying music, specifically instrumental music, strengthens memory, attention, pattern recognition, linguistics, all of which are directly success in reading and math. Anybody who has access to student data will tell you that your highest performing students are members of your band, orchestra, and chorus. That is not by fault, right? There is a connection there and we know it.
30 seconds.
If music education is in your curriculum, it needs to be properly staffed. We deserve it, and I know you feel the same way. Thank you for your time.
Emily Michael.
Hi, I'm Colleen Michael. I'm a Schuylkill Elementary parent. I'll let my daughter do most of the talking tonight, but to be clear, our request is this: to fund the long-term sub-band instructor role at Manavon that is currently filled by Katie Petrolak as a contract position.
Hello, my name is Emily Michael, and I'm a 6th grade student at Schuylkill Elementary. I'm here because I'm concerned about the decision to get rid of the long-term sub position for the band. I believe we should be adding a band instructor instead of taking away one. When Harris Hill opened, a band instructor was not added to that school, and instead the instructor at Schuylkill and Manavon was asked to teach Schuylkill, Manavon, and Harris Hill. Luckily, the long-term sub was added to Manavon after the start of the year, but we still saw the effects at Schuylkill, where our general music teacher had to step in and help teach band lessons. I'm concerned that cutting this long-term sub position and forcing Mr. Langdon to cover elementary school lessons will take away from the programs that the middle school offers. I spoke to my principal, and she told me that PASD isn't cutting any positions, and the band instructors are teaching the same number of students. This misses the point. Students are now spread across 4 elementary schools, and if that's the same number of students across the district, the current staff can't squeeze all the required lessons into the 6-day cycle. On top of this, the band program in the middle school is growing a lot. Mr. Langdon should have to split his focus across the elementary and middle school programs. Band is really important to me. I started playing violin in 3rd grade and moved to percussion in 4th grade. Percussion has made a positive impact on my life in 3 ways: teamwork, confidence, and goal setting. I wouldn't feel comfortable speaking here tonight without the confidence and self-esteem I built in band. I look forward to continuing band at the middle school, but I am concerned about the impact if the middle school band instructor is pulled into the elementary schools. I'm also concerned that future generations won't have the same experience as me. My 3rd grade sister, who is hoping to follow in my footsteps as a percussionist in band next year, will feel the impact of the reduced staff in the music program as well. PASD has earned the Best Communities for Music Education Award for the past 8 years straight. You can't expect that to continue if you neglect to fund the program. As the PASD website states, studies show that playing an instrument is connected to the increased academic awareness and better at interactions with peers. I love playing an instrument. I hope others get to experience the benefits of being in band. Thank you for your time.
Ava George.
Hello, my name is Ava George. I'm a senior at Phoenixville Area High School, and I'm here because the limited staffing in our music department is starting to affect students in ways that really matter. I've seen it firsthand in my own family. My brothers both play the saxophone in the middle school and elementary school, and they don't have like as many rehearsals as they used to. Because of that, they don't play as much anymore, and coming from an artistic family, it's hard to watch them lose their passion simply because they don't get enough time to practice and grow. When there are fewer staff members, there is less education. The middle school has about half the amount of rehearsals as the high school, and there is not enough time for students to learn, improve, or enjoy the meaning behind the music they're performing. Everything feels rushed, and when students feel rushed, they stop connecting with the music. They stop caring for it, and eventually they stop participating. If I hadn't chosen choir back in elementary and middle school, I wouldn't be the musician that I am today. Choir and music has helped me discover my voice, build confidence, and I'm continuing to pursue it in college. Every student who loves music deserves the same chance. They deserve the same level of learning and support that I was lucky enough to have when I was their age. Overall, music is important. It shapes people, builds communities, and gives students a place to belong. I'm asking that we invest in our music department again because students who care about music and want to pursue it in the future deserve that opportunity to grow and not the pressure to give up. Thank you.
Ruby Ruck.
Hello, my name is Ruby Rook, and I'm a part of the middle school band. I'm involved in concert band and jazz band at the middle school and marching band at the high school. I recently learned what the plan for next year's middle school band program is. I believe that having Mr. Langdon teach at the middle school as well as at an elementary school would not benefit the band program, but make it weaker. Having Mr. Langdon not present during the beginning of the year was not helpful, and having him at the middle school for only half the time would also not be helpful. How can we function as a band if we can't spend time in lessons, learning our music, or time in full band rehearsal preparing for an upcoming concert? We simply cannot. I understand that this will not affect me next year as I am in 8th grade and will move on to the high school. But it will change how many people choose to grow or participate in band. Not many people will want to join an extracurricular or a class that is not productive. How can we grow a productive learning environment without a mentor to guide us? Mr. Langdon has benefited our band in many ways. Since he arrived, Mr. Langdon has almost doubled the membership of our band program. People cannot continue learning if their teacher is not there to teach them. I talked to a member of our band program who joined in 4th grade, left, and came back. She showed how much she wanted to learn and play a new instrument. She told me that she left in November of her 6th grade year due to the last director and the environment that was created. Even though she wasn't active in the band program, she still wanted to play her instrument. When asked why she came back, she said, "I rejoined because I was told by many there was a new director, and I still enjoyed playing the clarinet, so I wanted to rejoin." Since Mr. Langdon has become our director, he has brought more people to band. More importantly, he has brought people back. This is important because band benefits its members in many ways. It builds an accepting community that fills us with support. I asked the student from earlier if being in band was more fun now that Mr. Langdon is our director, and she replied, "Band has been a much more enjoyable time since Mr. Langdon has become the director. He even convinced me to take part in the inter-county band and spend more time playing the clarinet." Mr. Langdon has given his students opportunities that benefit everyone. They make us stronger as individuals and as a group. The band program has changed my life. It may sound like an exaggeration, but band gives me joy. Knowing that I have band at the end of the day gives me motivation to keep going, especially during PSSAs. I look forward to school when I know I will be able to try a new place or learn a new technique on my instrument. I look forward to being with my friends who all enjoy the same activity as me. How will future band members be able to share the same experience without spending the needed time to practice and learn with an active director? Band class may happen every other day during 8th period, but lessons are every day. Lessons help us focus as a section on the areas we need to improve. We focus on specific parts of songs that we can't spend time on in band. We learn our specific instrument parts in lessons and apply them in band. With Mr. Langdon splitting time in an elementary school, we won't be able to effectively learn our pieces, grow as a community, or encourage people to try something new. Thank you.
Maureen Buckley. Thank you. Matt, is it Puck? Puke? Puck? Sorry?
Not the latter.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Matt.
No worries. Matt Puckey rhymes with lucky.
There you
16
go.
years in the borough.
Thank you.
2 kids at Schuylkill. Thank you for your time. I work for a small company. We make hard staffing decisions, and we have to work towards funding the right things on a regular basis. Without my knowledge of hearing some of this information about the budgeting of music for next year, without learning that from friends, I would have no idea. It's really tough to glean a lot of information from the minutes. When it's one page and there's not a lot of detail with it, you have to listen to what the public comments are to understand what's really going on behind the scenes. And when I can see that there's a potential that we're going to lose the long-term sub, Ms. Katie Petrolak, and try to basically water down the education, musical education, across all the schools by putting other people that do a great job into a position to have to teach more kids for less time. That doesn't seem like an improvement in education. It seems like it's going the other way, at least in my opinion. You can see very openly posted that there's a job opening for in the budget that Dr. Milber, in one of the budget proposals earlier this year, stated for 80 grand for climate and culture coordinator. It's now listed online as an offering for 110 grand. There's money there that's not spent yet, that's allocated for something. And I don't have anything against climate. I love being outside. Our kids love being outside. Creek walking is our deal. And they struggle with, I'll try to cross the streams here for everybody, they struggle with handling technology. We've heard a lot of stories here today about how individuals that have struggled with technology can benefit from actual in-person tactile learning. And when gamifying bottle and stuff like that when that's taken away, the regulation is really, really tough. We struggle with that on a regular basis with our 5th grader. We're trying to do everything that we can at home, just like everybody has already mentioned. We can only do so much internally in the home, and we're asking for hopefully some scaffolding at school, and that's music, especially for our 5th grader that struggles most with technology. Watering down anybody in the district that's providing musical education, such as the wonderful work that Mrs. Mull has done teaching trumpet to our 5th grader. Really hoping that the budgeting is not finished. From what I can glean from online in the meeting minutes, the budget is not set yet, and I really hope that a hard look can be taken and understanding what funding should go towards actual hard education. I understand that climate and culture is important. I think that there's more prudent use of funding, and if there's any opportunity to reallocate that so that we can transition that long-term sub into a full-time contract position, I think that'll maintain our excellent music program, if not grow it further.
30 seconds.
And I also think that in speaking with other people, is that not all the stakeholders are involved in those processes. Maybe other board members would like to counter that, but from what I understand, involving stakeholders in the decision-making process is key to what I do at work, and I'm hoping is what you guys do. So I'd like hopefully those music teachers that would potentially be negatively impacted to be part of those budgetary discussions. Thank you for your time.
I believe it says Gabe Clearwater. Is that correct?
Hello, school board. My name is Gabe Clearwater. I'm a 9th grader here at Phoenixville Area High School, and I've been part of the music program since I was in 3rd grade. And I just wanted to address 2 things here, which is music students' welfare, so our experience in learning, and teacher welfare. And I guess I'll start with teacher welfare. I know that balancing a budget isn't always hard. I know that monetary concerns are difficult, and there's not always enough funding for everything, and I get there's challenges with that. But I think we need to find a way to make sure that we have the right amount of music teachers, or at least the minimal amount. Mr. Lee, our orchestra director here at the middle school and high school, I don't have him as a teacher, but I've interacted with him a lot. He's a wonderful teacher, and I know he's very stressed. He's the PMA District 12 president, and he teaches the string orchestras, and it's all of its affiliates, so the string ensembles, chamber orchestra, at the middle school and high school. He has a very stressful job. He has to teach 2 ensembles, he has to manage a whole separate organization, and he has to put forth a level of education and commitment and dedication to 2 separate ensembles. He has to put forward effort in everything, and as a teacher, I imagine that's very tiring. I know that he does a wonderful job with the string orchestra, and many of my friends love him as a teacher, but he's stressed, and I'm worried that if we remove that long-term sub position and we have to reorganize teachers, it means that there will be more stress applied to other teachers. My band teacher, Mr. Sobel, he has to drive in all the way from New Jersey. I know that's stressful. That's a long commute. I don't think he struggles with, he doesn't have to teach several of the ensembles, but I know that that's a long commute. He has a family at home. And he has to put forward that level of excellence and dedication to us students, and I'm immensely thankful that I have the chance in the high school to have band every other day on an instrument that not many bands support. I'm very thankful to play an instrument that I don't think is supported elsewhere. I'm very concerned that if we remove that long-term sub position, have to reorganize our amazing band teachers here, Mr. Langdon, everyone else, I'm worried that that's going to impact the level of stress on the teachers and the level of education and commitment we're going to get to our education. I'm worried that we're not going to receive that quality of education. There's going to be less interest in the program, and then people are going to drop out, and we will have less participation in the high school. And going forward, once again, I understand there's budget concerns. I understand that not everything can be done, but I think we need to find a solution, whatever that solution is, without negatively impacting our teachers, without putting more stress, and with all due respect to the budget, that we can find maybe a contract position or a different way to change that position so there's a permanent teacher there that can be dedicated to those students and remove some of that stress off of Mr. Langdon and other band students. Thank you so much for your time.
I believe it's Kenzie, but I'm sorry, I can't read the last name. Sorry, Kenzie.
No, you're all good. Hello to the school board. My name is Kenzie Permanantham, and I am a 10th grader at Phoenixville Area High School. I would like to start off by saying that Phoenixville is a music school. That is what Phoenixville has been known for such a long time. That's what I think Phoenixville has been known for ever since I've started going to the school district. And so, to me, it is a little appalling that we're making such drastic cuts to such a program that makes Phoenixville Phoenixville. For example, my brother right now is in 5th grade at the elementary school at Harris Hill, and I started in the music department when I was maybe 4, but technically when I came to the school district in 2nd grade, and his experiences that I've seen through him with this music department have been very different than what I experienced when I was his age, and we are only 4 years apart. When I was his age, I was under the amazing guidance of Mr. Lee through the orchestra, and I could do so much with a piece of wood. And I think that's phenomenal for someone that is only in 3rd grade. But my brother, only last year, he couldn't read a sheet of music. And I don't know how many musicians we have in the school board, but that's the equivalent of being in 3rd grade and not knowing the alphabet. And that is a really serious problem that I see with the disparities of what I experienced with my music department and his music department. And personally, I know that obviously allocating all these different things to managing all the different things that this school has to offer is not easy, but this needs to be a priority because this is what makes Phoenixville Phoenixville. And so I urge the school board not to take all these experiences that you are about to hear in consideration, not just for me and all these amazing and talented musicians you see behind me today, but for those elementary schoolers who will be the talented musicians you see behind me today. Thank you.
Gabriella Lozano.
Hello. In the interest of time, I'm planning to keep this very brief. Thank you in advance for your attention. My name is Gabriella Lozano, and I'm a sophomore at Phoenixville Area High School. I'm here today because I'm concerned about certain changes that are being made to the music department at the elementary and middle levels. I've been in choir since the 6th grade, but I've had a passion for singing for much longer than that. The general music programs and the amazing staff at the elementary and middle levels have helped me to discover my love for singing while educating me on foundations of music that I carry with me to this day. And then once I got into middle school, my vocal training continued to improve, being in both the regular and select choir. I felt as though our amount of rehearsal time and as well as the attention given to us by our directors was very crucial in order to our success as a group. And now that I'm in high school, I'm able to participate in ensembles both in and outside of school. I co-lead alto sections in my outside ensemble, and I'm planning to participate in the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association choir competition next year. And also on top of that, I've been able to make lasting friendships with those in band, choir, and orchestra. And I felt as though I found a home within the music department that I wouldn't be able to have without my foundations in the elementary and middle level. Music education is a vital component, especially to the Phoenixville area school district. Not only does it produce many award-winning musicians, and not only have studies shown that it improves academic performance as a whole, but it also creates lasting memories and friendships that students will hold on to for the rest of their lives. By spreading staff across buildings, it leaves less time for the individual, for them to grow and find passion in their instrument or for singing, like me. This will lead to less lesson and rehearsal time and cutting off of our wonderful outside ensembles that are crucial to further learning, and it will also negatively impact teacher well-being, which will negatively impact the music department as a whole. I urge you all to take this into account when making decisions related to the future of the music department and its funding. Thank you for your time.
Caleb Cook.
My name is Caleb Cook. I'm a sophomore over at the high school. And so I'm a part of the orchestra and string ensemble, but I'm also in the band and an ensemble outside of school. And I made PMEA district orchestra in the fall. But music education, music education is so important. It not only helps with outside curriculums, but it also helps students learn how to communicate and give them time management and discipline. And I wouldn't be where I am without my teachers and all of the ensembles I have been in. And what I'm worried about is the education, particularly at the elementary school, and especially in the strings program. Mr. Clapper has 10 ensembles throughout grades 3 through 6 for the entire district. And every ensemble is supposed to have one rehearsal per week. As you can see, that becomes an issue with one teacher. That gives every ensemble about one rehearsal every 2 weeks. That very much limits time at a very crucial level as a beginner. Having one-on-one at a beginner level is so important to create a foundation. And if this continues, the growing music department we have at the high school and the middle school will start to diminish. But also having numbers and awards aren't the only priority at the music department, but it's the skills that come with it and the lifelong connections and friends made in these ensembles. Thank you.
Maxwell Work.
Hello, my name is Maxwell Work. I have been in various band ensembles over the past 5 years at this school, and I'm here to discuss the importance of proper funding for our music programs, especially at the elementary and middle school levels. Right now, our district is asking multiple elementary school music directors to split their time among 4 different schools. That might seem as manageable on paper, but in the reality, it limits the amount of attention each student gets and weakens the foundation of the entire music program. When students don't get strong instructional time early on, it will directly impact their success at middle school and high school levels. It's not just about music, it's also about academics and student success. I'm sure you know, research shows that students involved in music programs consistently outperform their peers. A study with over 100,000 students found that music students scored higher in math, science, and English by almost 22%. At the high school level, their SAT scores were between 18 to 20% higher than students that hadn't taken any music throughout their entire school career. Other studies show that it helps boost and strengthen the very important memory, focus, and problem-solving skills that directly transfer into the classroom. And it builds discipline, teamwork, and confidence, qualities that you need to succeed in life. I know from being in marching band can be difficult to deal with really long rehearsals or problems, but it helps you become a better person and work on your feet. When funding for the music stays the same, while demands increase, we're not kind of maintaining the program. Instead, we're quietly weakening the program from its foundations. If you truly value student achievement, we need to reinvest in what we know works. This means giving our elementary and middle school programs the staffing and resources they need to succeed. Music is not extra, it is a proven part of a well-rounded and high-performing education. Also, in the district website, it talks about how to get involved in band, and the video that is posted talks about 7 different benefits within the first year of joining band, and it talks about many points that I had already mentioned. But that's your opening thing presented to all parents signing their kids up for band. And I think that is very important that we reassess that and go back to what you are preaching at the start of every student's musical career. I urge you to reconsider how the music programs are funded, not for the sake of the programs, but for the sake of the students they serve. Thank you very much.
Janelle Broglie.
Hello, my name is Janelle Broglie, and I am the proud mother of that child. I have 2 other children in the district. I have a 9th grader son, and I have a 6th grader daughter. I've been able to see the school district and their music program in all different levels. And due to that, I kind of have a very interesting perspective. Ari, my sixth grader, is in Harris Hill Elementary School. She started with Miss Mole 2 years ago. This year's music program has had its hiccups. What we normally had was band on a regular basis in the morning. Due to the watered down curriculum, Ari herself has expressed that she doesn't know how she's going to go to the middle school because the sixth graders prior to her had way more knowledge. And I just reassured her. I'm like, Harris Hill is still moving and changing. The school district is going to pay attention to this. So she doesn't even know about essentially the watered down curriculum that's going to be happening with the teachers remaining with this schedule. Your elementary music teachers are some of the most dynamic and enthusiastic teachers that you have. They have to listen to hot cross buns hundreds of times and encourage those kids that it does not sound like dying cats out in an alley, but that they are doing the best job. And then I get to see those same elementary school teachers at the high school band concerts going, yes, it worked. And hot cross buns is not even in their mindset. But that takes time. That takes patience. That takes the ability to look and have that rapport with those students. As a former theater arts and secondary educator, I had the privilege of being through the same transition at Owen J. Roberts Middle School and High School. They were growing about 20 years ago, and all of those elementary schools were being built up. And I had the really interesting experience of going around and touring most of the theater and music programs within an hour radius. What we learned was that the school districts that invested in the growth at the same time as investing in the educators in those programs succeeded. Owen J. Roberts unfortunately chose a very similar path as you guys are about to go down, where they watered down the amount of educators that were at all of the schools. This ended up having a lack of retention not just from the staff, but also with the students, and unfortunately took a hit where the school district almost had 10 years of that program not being to the full success and PR standards that they wanted it to be. I would implore you to take a look at these budget cuts or these lack of putting funding where it needs to be, because we shouldn't make those same mistakes as our neighbors. These kids that are giving their time here, they're perfect examples of what your school district represents. And most of them here aren't even going to be around or feel that reciprocation, but they're here because they feel so passionately about this program. Thank you very much for your time.
James Kraft.
Hi, I'm James Jurgen Kraft. I've been in band for like a couple years now. I'll start with Mrs. Mall. She's pretty cool. I think y'all should keep the workers around. I feel like that'd be very beneficial so the younger generations who are basically going to be the foundations coming up can actually learn how all the music works and how to play their instruments. Get the social vibe of band. It's a very nice environment. It's just it works when there's funding and when there's people that can lead. And what I'm noticing now is nobody's really going to be able to lead it. Well, there's a lack of people that can lead it now because of budget cuts and whatever's going on. And they're just not getting funded as much as other groups, I feel like. And kind of need funding to do stuff because, nothing's free. Yeah, it's a very great environment. It's very accepting. It takes a lot of money, though, from what I can tell. I'm pretty new to this, but yeah. Give us your money. Please keep people around.
April Henry.
Good luck following that.
I was just going to say, that is a really hard act to follow. Thank you. I come here today not with a prepared speech, just to speak from the heart. Late last week, a friend of mine sent a text out asking if I knew what was going on here in the Phoenixville School District. And I was appalled that I did not. And that's because my lack of time, being a mother of 3, being a professional, just wasn't on my radar. Thank goodness I got that text. I, as I said, a mother of 3. My oldest 2 had no interest in music. They tried it. They did instruments for about a year each. And my youngest, who's now in 5th grade, started with Mr. Clapper playing the cello, and then with Mrs. Mole in 4th grade playing the trombone. So he's now playing 2 instruments, and I'm here for him and his future. So when I got that text, I turned to my son, John, and said, "Did you know this is going on?" And he's like, "No, Mom. Why?" And I said, "Well, at times you have to make those hard decisions. There's not always enough money to do everything you want. But when you have to make those decisions, like I have, being a business professional, you have to make sure you understand why you're making those decisions. You can't make those decisions in a silo. You need to reach out to the community. You need to reach out to the parents. You need to reach out to students who've been through the program, children that are going through the program." So I decided I need to be here. If I'm not here representing, sharing my thoughts, sharing my son's thoughts, then, my voice is not going to be heard. And thank goodness all those people before me decided to do the same thing. But I'll share with you that I didn't go online and look up stats about music and, the benefits of music. I turned to my 10-year-old son and said, "John, why is music so important to you?" And he said, "Mom, I love going to lessons because I love getting out from the group of kids that I'm with all day, getting out from the day-to-day and being able to go to a group of children, go to a classroom with a group of children that think like me, that have the same interest as me, where I feel like I belong. Mom, I like going because I'm able to see the progress that I've been able to make from being a 3rd grader and not being able to read a sheet of music to now reading a sheet of music, playing 2 instruments, performing in front of a variety of different people. The memorization, just the focus, the courage to get up in front of a group and perform, all those things that are so important, not to only being a musician, just being a normal human being. Music is creating the skill sets for John and for all our kids, the skill sets that we need for them to be successful individuals. And if we take that away, the time, the focus, and the effort, what does that say to the students now and future? I'll end by saying that you have a really hard decision to make. Thank you for being on the board. Thank you for making these hard decisions. But more importantly, thank you for listening to all of us and taking into consideration our thoughts, our feelings, and the facts.
Elaine Zalay.
Good evening. I'm Elaine Zelli. I know some of you on the board as neighbors. And I'm here to respectfully, like many others, ask the district to fully fund the music program across all of the different schools in the district. And more specifically, actually to convert what seems to be a part-time or long-term sub position into a full contract position beginning for the next school year. As you know, the music program continues to grow. The district continues to grow, with a fourth elementary school choosing not to renew this position effectively means less instruction and less face time between the instructors and the students, particularly at that elementary and middle grade level when it is the most important. So reducing staff undermines the program's momentum. I think you all know here that PASD is recognized as one of the best community for music education. Its logo on our website, it's teal and black. We've had that recognition for at least 7 years, so far as I could dig back. But it's more than just a symbol. That award, I learned, is for only 1,000 school districts nationwide, and there are almost 100,000 school districts across the nation. So it's a pretty specific award, and it's not just symbolic, it has to be earned yearly. Part of that award is based on staffing, student access, participation, and instructional consistency. So having that stable staffing is really key to maintaining the standard. Others before me have talked about how music education supports literacy and attention in school and engagement. But also in the middle grades, there's emerging research to show that music education also helps with mental health. It helps with school and community connectedness, can't say that, and positive youth development. And those are the sense of belonging that helps students continue to persist academically, even when academics may not be their strongest focus. And those benefits don't happen overnight. You have to have that dependable, consistent instruction. And we know, especially through COVID, lessons and ensemble instruction was really infrequent. And so as a result, if you look over a 10-year period, you see that fall, and now we're finally seeing this trajectory up again. Consistency is also an equity issue, and I know that that's also something that's been very important to the district. Many PASD students don't have access to private lessons or private ensembles or outside ensembles, and yet students can be afforded to have support for instrument rental. And so those same students should also have regular, consistent music education and that lesson time. So substitute-based models actually disproportionately disenfranchise students from those economically disadvantaged backgrounds, and they limit equal access to music learning, which is, again, something that somebody before me said, we're known for music. We're already seeing the impact of understanding. My older son is here. He's a senior. You may recognize him. He was drum major for 2 years, so has reaped benefits from this program. But he has a 6th grade brother. So like others, I can see the change. And as a 6th grader, he has only had 3 band ensemble lessons this semester, so since the December concert. And he hasn't missed any. Like, he's there. There will only be 5 ensemble lessons this semester before that May concert, which is unfortunate and makes him, feel a little bit less committed. He has a brother to push him a little bit, but we know from Mr. Langdon's research and others that actually the program is growing. And so robbing Peter to pay Paul and moving this one person's part-time here and shuffling things around don't really solve the problem. It just moves the gaps from one person to another or from one building to another. So in closing, I'd ask you to consider creating or converting the role into a full-time role to be proactive, and so that we don't fall into some of the other pitfalls that we've heard from other people, and that will help support student equity and learning. Thank you.
Maurizia Rodriguez.
Hello, my name is Maurizio Rodriguez, and I am a 9th grader here at the district. And I'm addressing the fact that our music directors are stretched thin. I used to go to Renaissance Academy Charter School, and there was about 2, 3 maybe music instructors. And when I started learning an instrument there, I didn't progress much. I couldn't get help when I needed it, and we barely had any time to practice all together. When I moved to Berkeley, I noticed a large amount of growth. Ms. Dengler was able to provide attention, help, and time whenever I needed it. And that only continued when I went to the middle school. Mr. Lee gave me the opportunity to learn cello even when I was 3 years behind everyone else. And with his help, and also some practice at home, I managed to progress a lot. I got to go to PMEA last year, and I'm in the string ensemble, and that wouldn't have been possible if Mr. Lee is in all places at once. I know he teaches multiple ensembles. He teaches a college. He's the president of PMEA, and he can't do all of that if there's no one to help. I'm asking that we provide more funds, maybe hire another director to help manage and support our music community. Thank you.
Trevor Heron.
Good evening, Trevor Heron, Schuylkill Township. I'm a senior at Phoenixville Area High School and have been an active member of the music program at PASD for the past 9 years, as well as serving as the drum major for the past 2 years of the marching band. Thanks to the district's music program, I built lifelong friends and a real foundation for my future. I'm here tonight because every student in this room and every student in the district deserves that same chance. Phoenixville has received the foundation recognition as one of the best communities for music education, an award for exceptional commitment to music as part of a well-rounded education. To qualify, districts must demonstrate high funding, strong participation, quality facilities, and access. Only 6% of schools qualify. And yet, Phoenixville has earned this award for 8 consecutive years, thanks to our dedicated music teachers, many who are in this room right now. Currently, elementary band students rehearse together only twice a month. Research from USC shows that students who participate in multiple forms of music education over long periods score significantly higher on measures of competence and future expectations. 2 ensemble sessions per month is not sufficient to build these skills, resulting in students entering middle school underprepared and contributing to challenges in the feeder program. Research following over 4,700 school students found that those in quality music programs scored significantly higher on education and math standardized test scores than those in weaker programs, regardless of socioeconomic status. A split director is not a high quality program. Rather, it leaves students in the program having to survive on half the attention. A beginner student needs a teacher whose eyes are on them, not divided across an entire campus, which brings me to Mr. Langdon. As the middle school band director, in his short time, he has doubled the number of participants. That consistency matters enormously, but the split further diminishes the program. We've already seen what teacher splits do to the program continuity. Students at that level are in a critical window. A poll of principals found that students with music programs have predominantly higher graduation rates than those without. Music students are more engaged and attend school more regularly, which is why a strong music foundation is important. Our programs are expanding rapidly, with new marching band membership tripling next year. Our choral program has expanded so quickly that students are being moved to other ensembles just to find room next year. This should be a success story, but more resources are needed to support this achievement. And I want this board to understand what these teachers mean beyond the data. Our music teachers are the people who let you stay in their room at lunch when you have nowhere to sit, or the trusted adult in a student's life when things get tough at home. They are a consistent presence across every year of a student's life in this building. Music matters, and so please show us that we do too. Thank you very much.
Alex Bloom.
Good evening, everyone. I ask that you all bear with me a bit because I don't have an exact speech prepared, but rather I have some quickly scribbled bullet points. So my name is Alex Bloom. I'm a senior here at the high school, and I am here to discuss the importance of music ed in my personal life and how that ties into some concerns I have about handling of programs, faculty, and I want to emphasize how that can translate, I'm not saying this is how it is, into a perceived disregard of the importance of music education. So, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself real quick. I promise I'm not just gloating myself, it has a point. So, like I said before, I'm a senior. I am going to college. I'm committed to college for music education, and I'm speaking as a future music educator. And a lot of the things I do, I've been involved in choir for as long as I can remember. I am one of two representing the Phoenixville School District at PMEA All States this year, and I was the only one last year. I've had lots of leadership opportunities, being the bass section leader in our choir and being the leader of our student-run a cappella group Vocal Fusion. And I just want to emphasize that none of this would be possible without the foundations that I've had in elementary school. Even though I'm primarily a vocalist, I was involved in band and orchestra at the elementary level at East Pikeland and Manavon, and even then I felt the impact of lessons. The lesson time is so important. Just the personalization that I got from that, feeling like I'm not just like one little speck in the dust. Having a lot of time to really refine your skill, get to know the people playing the same instruments as you. And it makes such a big difference just having that personalized instruction in such a small group. And the music educators in my life, elementary through high school, have impacted me like no one really has before. Not only have they just encouraged discipline and excellence in my life, both academically, socially, as a person, but I just think it's made me a lot more empathetic and passionate person. And I feel like that's something that the world really needs today. There's no secret, there's a growing population here in Phoenixville. This town is growing. You can see that the programs are getting bigger. And I'm really concerned about the layout of the plans that are being discussed here today may just completely revert all of that. I think the music staff should reflect the growing population, and the current music educators here shouldn't be so spread out and have so much on their hands that they don't know what to do with. I have some personalized experience. Right now, I am interning with Miss Darby, our middle school choir director at the middle school, and currently, each section meets one time every cycle day. Each section, not the whole choir. That's something I cannot even imagine, like when I went to middle school. I'm pretty sure I was there at least like 2 or 3 times, and we would split off into our different sections and come back just within one cycle day. So having much less rehearsal time is something I think could be very detrimental for the growth of these students. So with the new buildings especially, we see that the staff is already split across buildings, and I just want to emphasize the importance of music education in my life again. Like, I could talk a lot about how, it incorporates things like math, history, science. A lot of elements are incorporated in music education, but I think one of the most important things for me was the community, was teaching togetherness. The people that I've met through the music programs have become lifelong friends, I think, and the educators. I never used to consider myself a very confident person, and I don't think that little, second grade me or something would see myself speaking in front of the school board right now. So I would like to credit a lot of that thanks to the music education I have. But I think one of the most important things, and I think it ties into what we were talking about earlier with the curriculum, music education teaches you how to listen in a world of constant noise and static and overstimulation. So I am here to testify what it has done for me. The career path that I am taking, it just wouldn't be possible without the personalized attention and time that was able to be given by my elementary music educators and just throughout the entire program. I stand here now more proud than ever to be pursuing music education, and I really hope that everyone here kind of recognizes its importance and takes this opportunity, because we have programs growing, the population is growing. We cannot revert on that. while we have the chance, we should support that and support the current educators we have, and not be reluctant to keep, I don't know, getting more. So that's me. That's why I'm here. I hope you all take this into consideration. Thank you very much for your time.
Before we move to the next person, I just want to acknowledge Alex, because he was just the lead in our play at Catch Me If You Can, and he was unbelievable. So. Yeagle.
Hello, my name is Yeagle. I'm from Schuylkill Township, and I am a senior. Tonight I wanted to discuss something that's very important to me, which is music education in our district. I am the president of the Phoenixville Area High School Orchestra, and was the other drum major of the Phoenixville Marching Phantoms for the past season. I am a member of chorus, band, and orchestra, and multiple additional ensembles such as string ensemble and vocal ensemble. The music education I have received has been simply phenomenal throughout my educational journey from Schuylkill up to now. There have been so many wonderful opportunities I've received as a result of being a part of the music department. Performance opportunities, department trips to Disney and California, and clinics have all provided me growth in my musical abilities. But more importantly, as a result of my music education, I have been provided with personal growth. I have been able to learn things that otherwise I would not have been able to, just because of the teachers that I have been able to interact with. I am currently exploring the path of music education at Manavon Elementary with Ms. Laura Sakazensky as part of my Educators Rising class, and it has made me aware of just how much is learned at the early level. I have seen motor skills, body coordination, sharing, working with others, responsibility, learning how to be a good friend, following directions, and basic musical skills all being developed in her general music class. And that isn't even close to everything these students learn. I've watched as she has accommodated all different types of students at levels K through 6, which is an impressive feat. She has done every day with a smile. My point is this: good music educators teach beyond the music. And that's exactly what I've experienced during my time in Schuylkill, in the middle school, and in the high school. So it is no surprise to me that Phoenixville has been rated among the best communities for music education for multiple years in a row. It is really important to me that music education continues to be excellent in our school district, that all of our music educators are given adequate support, and that opportunities like I have experienced continue to be accessible to all of those who come after me. Thank you very much.
And Jack Ruck.
Hi, my name is Jack Rook. I go to Phoenixville Area High School. I started out my music career playing cello and then moved very quickly to trumpet after I really hurt my fingers playing cello. And I just wanted to share why education in general, especially in music, is so fundamentally important to your learning of an instrument, of a music piece, or of learning just general human things. And in elementary school was where I learned the basics of trumpet with Miss Mall, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. And I don't remember much, but I know that that was where I learned scales, which are basically the ABCs of music. It's the first thing you learn, and it's the first thing you'll practice as soon as you start practicing. And learning scales starts out difficult as you need to learn all the fingerings, especially on trumpet or even on other instruments like clarinet or saxophone where you have too many keys to count. And my experience with scales were that I hated them because they felt tedious and I didn't feel like I was learning anything or gaining anything from them. But after enough time of just practicing scales, you're able to play a scale from one octave to another. And that's as accomplishing as learning and memorizing your ABCs in English. And then before that even, my mom taught me piano. And piano started out as like a little thing that my mom would teach me just so I could get connected with her. And I fell off of it for some reason. And eventually I came back to it and started learning simpler pieces of music. And I can promise you this, that it's hard to learn music without an instructor. I would know, as I'm almost fully self-taught on piano, and it has probably been the worst decision of my life to try to learn piano self-taught, which is why I love trumpet so much, because it feels like it's a accumulation of all of my teachers, and it's not just me learning an instrument by myself. It feels like Mr. Sobel, even at my high school level, has still taught me things about the trumpet that I never would have known had it not been for him. And same with my trumpet tutor, Jacob Springer, and same with all of the other people who have helped me out. It just feels like teachers are the most important thing when learning an instrument or when learning anything in general, which is why I was very sad to hear that teachers are being stretched across multiple schools, which means that there will be less time with teachers, which, as I have stated, is the most important and most fundamental part of learning an instrument. And I'm sure that everybody has experienced this at some point. When you're tired, it's hard to learn anything, or it's hard to do anything. And if you're stuck there going back and forth between 4 different schools or many different schools, it'll be hard to stay awake and to be able to stay active and teach students things. And that's all I wanted to share, was that I feel like having teachers is the most important thing when learning anything in general. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna, okay, so, good evening, everyone.
Sorry, I wrote down curriculum and budget. I was like, do you want me to wait till the end of the budget to speak on that, or?
That's the next meeting, yeah.
Well, I know, but I'm speaking about this, so it's up to you.
Because you already spoke once during this, we only allow one comment per meeting, so, sorry.
That's fine.
All right, sorry, we can't do that now.
I'm gonna say thank you for everything. I hope
Stephanie.
Thanks.
Ready? Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I do want to go over a couple things just to make sure that everyone has all of the facts. The first thing I want to say is please understand that music and arts is very important to all of us that sit in front of you. We're fully invested in that, and there's no doubt about that. What I'm going to explain to you a little bit about is where we are today and give you the facts. And then again, everything that you said, I don't think that we don't agree with. It's the manner in which we have to run business here is what I'm going to explain. So we've recently received a lot of emails and heard a lot of your feedback. The district remains committed to supporting the arts as an essential part of a well-rounded student, no doubt about it. Band and orchestra instruction at the K-12 level will remain unchanged for the upcoming school year. So that's the student experience. Band and orchestra instruction at the K-12 level will remain unchanged for the upcoming school year. I did hear some parents say we didn't know, and that could be because the impact is not on your child, it would be on a staff member that is across multiple buildings. Staffing adjustments, as in all departments, are based on student enrollment and program needs and are reviewed annually to ensure high quality instruction. In some cases, music staff may serve multiple buildings to ensure all students have access to programming. This is a long-standing and common practice in PASD and in school districts more broadly. I'm going to share with you right now the shared positions that we do have within the districts. Nurses, reading specialists, ELD teachers, world language teachers, mental health specialists, student activity and resiliency advisor, social workers, STEM staff, art teachers, librarians, music staff, instructional coaches, board certified behavior analyst, school psychologist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, physical therapist, and our community liaison. Those are all shared staff models that we are using currently, all of those positions. A shared staffing model ensures all students have access to programs and services, even when a single building cannot support a full-time teacher. Consistency in instruction and support services across all schools. Staffing is aligned to student enrollment and program demand. Efficient scheduling by allowing staff to support multiple buildings based on need, and responsible use of district resources while maintaining financial sustainability. This approach allows us to maintain programs, provide equitable opportunities for all students, and be responsible stewards of district resources. Just to explain a little bit of the budget process and how we are here, because I continue to hear budget cuts and the changes. And we have currently 11 certified contracted music teachers. We will have 11 certified contract music teachers next year. We currently have a half-time LTS position. And I believe, now I finally understand when I continued to hear the budget cuts and I wasn't understanding you. And I believe that's the position that has been spoken about. So now I understand, because I kept asking individuals who were emailing me, could you please name specific? So each school building meets with cabinet late in January. So that's the main cabinet. And the building administrators meet with us for our annual budget process. So that's in January. Remember, tonight we're voting on the proposed budget for next year. During these meetings, building principals, which is the process that we use. I've heard about stakeholders. Tonight I heard who are the stakeholders. Individual building principals are responsible for their building budget. They meet with the individual district office and present their budget, propose master schedules, and based on student needs and programming requirements, determine staffing needs and submit those requests. That was back in January. Historically, budget and staffing discussions are grounded in this process, and there's a whole data review cycle. Music staffing concerns were not even talked about until recently, when individuals were communicated their staffing assignments. So again, this has come up just recently, and I'm understanding you're receiving a lot of emails and text messages and all of that. So we have not heard of any of this until individuals were informed of their staffing assignments. It's important to recognize that while staffing assignments may not always align with an individual staff member's preferred placement, these decisions are driven first and foremost by student course requests, enrollment patterns, and program needs. Adjustments are sometimes necessary, and we understand these decisions can be emotional. Definitely. Our responsibility is to make decisions based on accurate and current data. What I will tell you today, because I'm transparent and I'm always upfront, based on the information that's available to us today, enrollment and student requests do not support the addition of another contracted music teacher position. What happens next? Our next several weeks, we will continue to meet with building leaders and finalize master schedules and confirm student enrollment numbers and requests. That's the last phase of this. If data indicates a need for adjustment, we will revise staffing decisions accordingly. That's as transparent as I can be with you. That's as honest as I can be with you, and that's the most up-to-date information that I can give all of you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that. I'll take a quick moment. I know it's been a long night, but thank everyone for coming out. Two pretty big topics we talked about tonight, and I appreciate everyone taking the time out of their night and coming to the shortest meeting that I've ever chaired. But I appreciate you coming out and speaking your voice. We are later tonight about to have another conversation about the finances of our district and what our future budget looks like. So feel free to stick around if you like. But most importantly, thank you for coming out and speaking to us and letting us know your concerns. I know all of us have heard it. Graham wants to make a comment. Go for it.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everyone who spoke tonight for their passion and their courage to come up and speak. This is a subject that means a lot to me. I will go home tonight, as no matter how late we get out, and I will practice the piano for at least 30 minutes tonight, despite my wife trying to go to sleep.
All right, so thank you very much. At 8:36 p.m., I will adjourn this meeting. Our next meeting for the Curriculum Committee is on May 18th at 5:30 p.m. Thank you again.